Massachusetts.
No shit.
I'm still a very big avid fan of hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's funny. I took
the Sound of Fury.
Oh,
too.
nice.
Yeah.
I took years off, and like a few months ago, started getting back into it.
Really?
Just like like
I got
the
some-
things we carry, it was like or like the Final Fight Lifelong Tragedy split.
For sure.
There was like a few albums that I was like, man, I haven't listened to this in so long.
Dude, I got some bands for you, brother. I actually in I don't know, man. So my mom, she was involved with Alcoholics Anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like growing up, like watching her go through the program and stuff, I hear it all depends on where you go. But for me, my experience of seeing her go through the program, it was kind of like she would come home and she'd be a little upset, like not upset. She'd have heavy hearted. And I'd be like, what's going on, Mom? How was your meeting? And it seems like whenever my mom would talk to somebody about what she was going through, they would kind of one-up her in a weird way. Like they would be like, you think your fucking problems are problems? Check out this problem. And so in my journey for sobriety, I didn't want to get involved with that because for two reasons. One reason that
with AA.
With AA.
Yeah.
Well, I think it would be more NA. I had more of an
Okay,
issue with just being stoned all the time and doing coke so that I could drink more and a lot of cigarettes.
Because I'd actually started in NA for a little bit, and then I went to AA.
How come?
The guy who I went to one meeting with some people, and I talked to this guy that ended up becoming my sponsor, and he basically was like, not to put anything down on NA or whatever, but just he was like, the thing that you should try to look for is like, go to meetings where you can meet people where you look at them and you want what they have. And I was going to a lot of meetings where NA meetings where people were like just kind of like barely sober and didn't look like they were doing all that well. Whereas I went to a lot of AA meetings where there's like professional people or like people have families.
Robert Downey Jr. type vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to be Iron Man. So I'm like, boom, like these guys have something I want. So I started going to meetings and looking at them. I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah.
They were just bigger, and I felt like there was like more of like a community or like the
for sure.
Like the social side of it was
it's
a little
probably
bit
a bigger
more robust.
army.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And I don't think you suffer so much, like, and I don't know this for sure because I don't have like the statistics in front of me, but I feel like the person who has suffered from narcotics, like self-suffered, compared to the person who has self-suffered with alcohol, like the AA department is probably more mentally there. As like somebody who is like in NA might
Yeah, there were some people that I'd see at meetings who kind
of looking at you weird and shit.
Or yeah, they looked like they were just barely hanging on.
Yeah.
Some of them. Even though they might have had a good chunk of sobriety, they still kind of seemed like other areas of their life hadn't really like kind of clicked in yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas I go to AA meetings and you'd see people, like showing up in suits after work or whatever, and they have a family and they're doing all this other stuff. And you're like, oh wow, they're really like checked in and doing this thing.
For sure. So you ended up going to AA because you wanted to be you wanted to be more of the suit culture, like more of the doing better.
Yeah, I'm a white kid from Manhattan Beach, so it's like I identify with more of like these people. Whereas like some of the people I met in NA were just, went through struggles that I couldn't even comprehend.
For sure.
And it was sort of like I almost couldn't relate to them as well. Kind of like where you're saying, it's like, oh, you think that's bad? Well, like I had to do this, and this, and then you're like, oh, well, I'm just like a 17-year-old kid that is dabbling with opiates, and my parents are really upset. And
is that was your thing? The dabbling with opiates?
Yeah. It was like painkillers, and then heroin was the thing.
Painkillers, dude.
Yeah,
painkillers is a trip, right? Like, that's the thing. Yeah. I broke my hand, and my hand hurt like fuck, dude. And I was just taking painkillers. Like, I take 2. Okay, take 2.
Yeah.
And a couple hours later, my hand would hurt again. Take 2, and then all of a sudden, I realized that like 3 days had gone by where I was taking 2, but I don't really remember my hand hurting anymore. And I was like, wait, what? And then I was like, oh, well, then the pain's gone.
Right.
And then I remember thinking I misplaced them and it being like kind of a deal. And I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, this is weird. And that was as worse as it got for me on opiates. That was like my first, like, whoa. So what I would do is I'd take the painkillers. I was smoking a bunch of pot, and I would take the painkillers and take a bong load or whatever, and then wake up like 7 hours later or something like that.
See?
Seriously,
Yeah.
it was super weird,
Yeah,
dude.
that's the combo right there. Yeah.
I don't know anything more about opiates than that, but I will say that tobacco mixed with weed
Yeah.
has made me a worthless shithead.
Dude, I
before.
went to college with guys where it's like
That's where they learned it. So my friend Heidi,
the mokes or the
I call them mokes, and
Yeah,
people
yeah.
call them mobiles.
yeah mokes.
But I call them mokes because of Pat, my buddy Nick Chepa, and my friend Heidi, who went to Humboldt State.
Oh yeah, I was in Heidi's dorm freshman year.
Really?
Yeah, I know
okay.
Heidi.
So I love Heidi. Everybody in this town loves
Yeah,
Heidi.
she's a sweetheart. Yeah.
She's
I remember talking to her.
she's
about
everybody's
you now.
sister.
Yeah.
She's epic.
Yeah.
She's epic. She was she was a moker.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
No, man, I would go to. Dude, I remember going to parties and they would have like a bong sitting out that was like dark yellow that was just for mokes, and you would see people take a huge bong, walk outside and throw up, and just lay on a couch just like zonked out.
Yeah.
I'm like, that looks terrible.
Yeah, it was really crazy. So me and my buddy, who is an avid dude, who actually went up to Humboldt to experiment with DMT, he came back and introduced me. And yeah, dude, there was like, I was doing it for a while. I had some really weird fucking things, like sleeping all day and like getting way too high to the point where like you're kind of fucking like paranoid about shit.
Yeah,
super. I'm sorry. So that's my fucking, that was the band that I ended up playing drums for.
Okay,
dude, we got
nice.
a lot to fucking catch up on.
I was like,
okay,
you played
so
drums in a band?
anyways, full circle. Thank you for the subscription. To bring it back, I never wanted to get involved with any of that because one, I didn't want the one-up effect that my mom had experienced, for lack of better words. But two, I didn't want anybody who wasn't living in my skin telling me how bad or good or whatever I like, telling me anything about me. Like, I didn't want to get put into a trap where someone was like, hey man, like, you can't fucking do this because this. Like, I wanted to figure this. I wanted it bad enough, and that was important. I evaluated myself, and I was like, okay, I want this sobriety bad enough.
Right.
My thing was like coke, getting drunk, being really drunk, doing coke so that I wasn't so drunk, doing more coke.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much on the weekends and shit, and being high, stoned all the time, like all the time, until like fucking November 17th. I was like stoned. Oh, no. A month before that, I drank on November 17th. So I fucking was like, well, I need to get involved with something. What the fuck can I do, man? I'm going to have to go to these meetings, man. There's no way around it. And it clicked to me, and I was like, dude, I've been listening to straight edge hardcore for as long as I can fucking remember. And I was like, I'll just start going to shows and like buying these records and like reading up on the lyrics and like really trying to get involved with the music, like really trying to fucking feel like these songs are about me and shit, you know? And dude, I fucking, ever since, dude, I got a couple boys. Do you know Ian Goodlit?
Hey, friends of Robbie Beverly?
Yeah. He's been my fucking.
Like shaved head.
Yeah, we went to Sound and Fury together. So I have a couple of buddies I've been going to shows with and shit, but I've just been sticking with straight edge hardcore.
There you go, man.
And it's worked for me, man, because like I spent a lot of time like doing my own thing and stuff. And these talks too, I do about 3 or 4 of these a week.
Okay, nice.
These really fucking help.
No, I mean, to a certain extent, these kind of serve the same purpose as a meeting does.
Yeah.
I mean, just sharing your experience, listening to someone else, I guess offering advice or.
Sorry, dude, just get that out
do
of
your
the way.
thing. But yeah, man, that's awesome. At least you found whatever works for you. I mean, I'm not someone who thinks like if someone was like, "Hey, I want to get sober. I don't know how," I'd probably be like, I would start with AA because that's a really good place to just be like,
do not
go to this.
Do not. Well, like, here's the thing, man. It's like the passion that I have for hardcore has existed before any of this drama. You know what I'm saying? You can't like. I would say it's going to be highly unlikely and improbable to talk somebody into being into hardcore at this point in their life. You know what I'm saying?
If it hasn't bit you yet.
Yeah, it would have had to have happened. And like what hardcore means to me is the accumulation of us skateboarding super fucking young.
Mm-hmm.
Like smoking cigarettes like in Hermosa Valley. Like
Right.
it's the accumulation of all the stupid shit we've done and like the evolution of punk like in the local scene and us growing like it only works for me because I'm like emotionally tied to it because it really is something that I don't know, it's a part of me.
Right.
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
No,
So
I get that. Yeah.
yeah, so I was lucky enough to have an outlet um that promotes sobriety and clear-headed thinking and
Yeah, yeah.
fucking and it's worked for me. If it works, work it, right?
No, man, and that's something no one can take away from it. If
Yeah.
it's working, then it's like that's. I mean, it's kind of a bottom line thing. It's
Yeah.
like either it's working for you or it's not.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Are you still involved with the program?
no, I mean, I do still practice a lot of like I still take kind of the equivalent of a oh god, I forget or the daily 10th step where it's sort of like I don't know how familiar you are with the steps, but
I
like
have Stuart Crichton on and he enlightens me every now and then.
Oh yeah, if anyone would be able to explain it, he can. But
I fucking
I
love
mean,
Stuart.
you know, you take a personal inventory. Basically, you make a list of people you have resentments against, and then there's a way. I mean, there's columns and all this stuff, but basically, at the end of it, all you really do is like, what is your part in this? Because that's all you can control. You can't control the other person. So
For sure.
you know, let's say I got in a fight with you because I was late to work and you told my boss, and I'm like, man, fuck Andrew. You told my boss I might get fired now, and it's like, all right, I do my little thing, and I go, all right, well, what's my part in this? It's like, well, I was late to work. At the end of the day, you know, if you told the boss or not, I was late to work.
For sure,
it's like that's my part in it.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's just like on a daily. That's helpful too because I think on the daily we just don't take the time to like really assess what's really going on when we're pissed off about shit. You know,
I mean it's tough.
Yeah.
Because also it's like, what am I? You know, it's like maybe I'm lacking tolerance. Maybe you know, there's different things you need to be kind of aware of, and from kind of doing that, trying to do it consistently over the years. I mean, I really kind of know like what my character defects are. I have them pretty boiled down. Where
For
it's
sure,
like, it's usually lacking tolerance and patience are the two big ones that always come up.
For sure,
where it's like. It really comes down to like a few things. Like it's like a pride issue, or there's different things of parts of your character that it's affecting or kind of flaring up. And you'll find out it kind of tells you exactly what kind of asshole you can be.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And this is something you practice on the daily, or like you just
well, it's just something
thinking about it.
Yeah, just always in my mind.
For
so
sure.
If I am pissed off, I can stop and just kind of do it in my head real quick.
For sure.
To try to. I mean, and it calms me down pretty quick because. Most of the time, if we're upset, it's usually about what other people are doing to us, and you can't change other people. So at the end of the day, it's only what how you deal with it within yourself. So that's kind of what you got to focus on. That and just having an idea of some sort of higher power.
Yeah, for sure.
Not necessarily a god, but just some understanding that like you're not the end all be all. Of the world. Like there's some power greater than you, and
what does that do for you?
I don't know. It's kind of like a humility check.
For sure.
Where,
sizes you up to the universe type deal?
Yeah, it puts things in perspective.
Okay.
Like if, you have this idea of a higher power, whatever, I remember talking to a guy who his higher power was gravity. Because he was like, I was really against God. I'm like a man of science, My sponsor was like, all right, well, like, gravity is a power greater than yourself. Can you keep all the shit on the earth from flying off into space? No. So, like, gravity. So like,
I like that.
His thing was gravity. So
yeah.
I was like, hey, if it works, it works.
For sure.
Yeah, and all it does, it just kind of checks your ego a little bit and makes you go, kind of like grounds you. And then I think it kind of, it's tough to honestly evaluate yourself or change yourself if you think that you're the fucking shit and you're the end all be all. And, so it kind of puts you a little check on that in that department.
For sure.
So that's something that just I've always kind of that and meditating.
For sure. So you're meditating as well?
Yeah, I've been bad about it lately, but
I'm the worst meditator, but I like to believe at meditating itself, at getting up and meditating every day, I give myself like a fucking 4 out of 10. But if I do sit down and meditate, I get like a 6 out of 10. Like I'm to the point where I meditated enough to know that when I meditate, like my thoughts are going to just be like fucking carpet bombing me.
Right.
But I've gotten to the point where I'm like letting myself think about those thoughts, like as I'm meditating, instead of like getting frustrated that you can't clear your head.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
absolutely. Yeah.
When I was first meditating, I was like, I'd sit there and be like, oh, why the fuck am I thinking about what I need to do next week, or whatever it is. And then once you realize, I forgot who it was. I think it's the Asian dude who's running for president talking about meditating. I forget his name. I don't know.
The guy of Universal Basic
Yeah,
Income.
that guy.
Yeah.
UBI guy.
Yeah.
He was talking about meditating and how
Was it something Yang?
Yes.
Or,
yeah. I didn't want to fuck.
yeah.
I didn't want to fuck that
Yeah,
up. He didn't. He was talking about letting the thoughts just kind of move through you and examining the thoughts and yoga will do that too. Is like you're supposed to like evaluate yourself with no judgment, and like just kind of like evaluate. I don't know, almost watch yourself think about thoughts kind of deal. And then in doing so, you're using like a percentage of what the initial like effort would have been to try and sit there and like consciously think about being unconscious, and it's just like a big mind fuck. So
no, and I, my mom is really big into yoga now, so I started going with her a couple times a week to yoga.
Good.
And that's really helpful. And also, I know you were running a little bit, but I ran the marathon this year. And
you did.
I mean, there's...
it was your picture that made me say, dude, I want to fucking run, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
I saw you finish it, and there was another friend of mine, Jessica, who has just worked her. Shout out Jessica, who's just, I get to do shout outs now. My friend Jessica, who just worked her ass off. I mean, like really got up every day at 5 and like really documented her going to like this boot camp and shedding this weight and like really kicking her own ass, and she ended up running the fucking marathon.
Good for her.
And then I was like, man, if that's not inspiring, I don't know what it is. And then I saw you run the marathon. I was like, god damn, people I know are running the marathon. And both my parents, my dad was a marathon runner, and he holds that as one of his greatest accomplishments to this day. It was like something that,
it's up there for me.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's no way around it. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It just hurts.
It's awful, huh?
Yeah. And I mean, you're just moving your own weight. So it's like you see little people doing it, big people doing it. Dude, there are old people running it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if anybody that puts in the time can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do believe that.
How do you train for something like that?
There's a lot of great programs online. There's a guy named Hal Higdon who has a bunch of training programs. I kind of use that as like a basic template. But if you're not running at all, I would just start with going out, run 20 minutes every other day until you can start running,
for sure
3 miles a couple days a week. And then you just kind of start building. I think, he recommends, unless you're consistently running 15 miles a week, total, that's kind of like where you need to be before you start jumping into a marathon training program.
Oh, okay.
But then again, there's freaks that don't need that, and
I'm not one of those freaks.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. My knees hurt if I get do too much too soon.
I had to go to Village Runner and get myself like what would be considered like some goofy ass looking shoes, but they
like stability shoes.
Yeah, well, they're just like really. They got that inch. Yeah. They look like they're not Hokas.
Okay.
They're Sauconys.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but
good shoes.
They're great, dude. They're great, and they're super fucking neon and green, and they're great. They make me feel like I'm a runner. But I would say that the most game-changing part of me running was for sure when I learned how to recover in my jog, if that makes sense. So I would run up a hill and just be like, fuck, this sucks, and then keep jogging and having the mental. And there's a lot like I was reading up on like Goggins for sure.
Yeah.
And,
no, from Rogan's podcast.
Yeah,
That's how I found out about him.
Yeah, Jocko Willink and shit. These dudes are no joke dudes.
No, yeah, Cam Haynes. He's got. I mean, that was one of the. I remember.
Scooch behind that microphone, just like
over here?
just a little bit
Over here.
Yeah, just be behind this.
Yeah,
there you go.
No, but it was through listening to a couple people that came on Rogan's podcast where I started hearing about these. It's like all these guys at one point weren't running a bunch of marathons, and it was kind of like, dude, I think I could do this.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the biggest part right there is saying like, yo, wait, I could like, why not me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm going to be 29. It's like, I'm kind of in the prime of my life right around there. So it's like,
for sure.
If I can ever run a marathon, this is the time where I can do it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So you were, and where were you running? Like just down,
so
what area are you staying at?
I live like on the backside of Palos Verdes now on the border of San Pedro.
Oh, rad.
Which is
That's a cool
perfect
spot.
running area.
Yeah,
I
that's a
mean,
cool spot.
I live right next to this. It's called the White Point Nature Reserve. So there's a bunch of trails all throughout this little nature reserve.
For sure.
You can go down to the beach. There's all these bluffs and kind of like trails around Palos Verdes.
Uh-huh.
So I got really lucky with my living situation. It was
Yeah.
kind of, I started training right when I moved down there.
Oh, rad.
I was newly single for the first time in 8 years, so I had all this extra energy.
Yeah.
So running was very helpful for that.
Yeah.
But touching back on the meditation thing, I mean, when you're running, it's really hard to think about a whole lot of other stuff if you're really pushing yourself. So as far as trying to like focus on your breath and clear your head, it's like if you're charging up a hill, it's like all you can really think about is just putting your foot in front of the other one and breathing. And there's not a lot of time to think about like, oh, did I drop my clothes off that I need to get picked up? Or like, oh, I didn't go grocery shopping yet. I mean, really all you're thinking about is just like, fuck, I just want to get, to the top of this hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And it got for me like, I'd listen to music, my fucking loud ass hardcore, whatever. And sometimes it would like cloud my shit. I would have to take off my headphones. I just recently started running without headphones.
Oh man.
Because it was just kind of like, it was just loud. It was extra noise. Like the mental noise that already exists from you stomping and trying to finish your run on top of someone fucking, I don't know, whatever it was. I was doing books on tape. I was trying to do like the uber successful person thing for a little bit. I'd get on my audiobooks and
well, I mainly do podcasts when I run.
For sure.
As opposed to music.
Yeah. So I would try, and there's some fun ones. Like when I was getting really comfortable with it, I'd be better. But I had taken some time off, and yeah, dude, I love running. But my big thing is beach volleyball. I play a lot of beach volleyball.
Nice.
Try and play like for 4 hours every Saturday.
Oh damn.
In the morning, doubles. And so that's gone to me to where I needed to go. But yeah, dude, small world. I saw your picture and along with a lot of other pictures of you like acting and shit. And I was like, dude, this dude Matt is fucking killing it.
I'm trying, man.
Isn't that so funny? That's the effect of social media. It's like you're just doing what you think Matt Daniel does, but on Instagram it looks like you're fucking like killing it, right? But you're probably just like, yeah, I'm just kind of doing the thing.
I'm trying, man. No, and that is one of the positives as you go up there and there's a lot of negatives to social media where you look at it and you get all bummed out because you're not doing all this stuff. But then there's also the flip side of that where you're like, dude, if they're fucking running marathons, like I want to run.
Well, for sure.
Yeah.
That's just that can do attitude. But like that negative side of social media was one of the main reasons why I got sober. It's because all of a sudden it was 7 years later and I was like, wait, this person's this person just bought a house.
Yeah.
Wait, this person just did this. Like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a job. So I finished art school here in town. I got a degree in graphic design.
Okay. Where did you get it through?
The Art Institute here in Santa Monica.
Right.
And I got this job in town working for this dude. Did the whole thing, promised that it was going to be like this fucking Wolf Wall Street thing within fucking 6 months. But really what was important to me is how easy would it be for me to show up to work high. And that wasn't something that I would have admitted at the time or anything. Now this is all in retrospect. And basically I just had like used that job as a safety net where it's like, yo, man, like I work hard, and I think that I'm good at what I do, but it was really like, yo, I was somewhere from 7 to 4 today. And like, if I can get away with being high while I was doing that, then more, that's better for me. But it just bred complacency, being at that job for as long as I was. And I forget what the post was exactly, but I think I was just like, it was Monday. I was at work. I fucking had the anxiety because, Sunday, like I got into watching football because it was a reason for me to drink. Yeah. Like it was a reason for me to have beers. And if I was with the right dude, I knew he'd have Coke left over from the night before.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, I'll have a cigarette. And then before you know, it was Monday. I started work every day at 7 and I just fucking felt like trash. And it was a Monday and, I don't know. I forget whose post. It doesn't matter. I just saw a post that like made me feel like I had been like in a tar pit for the past 6 years.
Yeah.
And I did like the struggle flip flop thing where like you quit but you don't quit. You quit. No, I'm not gonna go out. But it's not really until like you're forced to be in a position where like you stop hanging out with your friends and like be with yourself for a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and that's when they say rock bottom's whenever you stop digging. I mean, that's that kind of sums it up. It's like it's just like whatever that point is for you, where all of a sudden you start looking around, going like, oh man, this is not where I want to be.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not, man. It's just like I was just found myself like in all aspects of my life. Like I was working some job, dude. I got paid. I let this dude fucking pay me 15 an hour for 5 years. Like it was just like and that was just like a characteristic of my life because it was just again, I said it before, like my situation just bred complacency.
Right.
There was nothing going on, and I would still do things like I played volleyball tournaments. But I was just doing like the South Bay like party thing, just work a whatever job so that I had enough money to like end up on the pier and like in a bathroom at some point in the night and like Ubering everywhere because I was too fucked up, and it was like, but I wasn't even happy, like just like making excuses. So I made the change and I started this podcast just because, it wasn't the podcast. I started streaming video games because I always thought I was a class clown growing up, and I thought that I could fucking make people laugh for a living.
Right.
And, which is a big order, which is a tall order because, you have to really believe in your shout out to anybody. And I say shout out, I'm speaking figuratively. My respect goes to people who have pursued that, and aren't the best at video games, but there are some like Twitch dudes out there who are just funny to watch and shit.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do because, I related a lot to like juggling on the Venice boardwalk. You're just kind of like, hey, look at me. Like as people are like coming by, because like you can see the people show up on your channel and then leave and show up and leave. And
so it's just like, how do you keep them here as long as possible?
Yeah,
is that kind of the game?
Yeah, and you're just kind of like an entertainment whore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like I was watching people be like, yo, I'll give you a $20 tip if you fucking whatever, and it's like I saw where that was going.
Yeah.
And that's not what I wanted. And I was like, well, maybe so I don't have to do this by myself. Maybe like I'll have friends on and I'll play friends video games, and that'll be like my thing. And so I'd have friends on, and you only have a few friends that you can goof around. Like you playing video games with Nathan and Grady and shit. Like there's only so many Nathans and Gradys before you're like playing video games with somebody you like don't really know that well, and you're trying to get to know, or else they're just doing it with you every episode. So video games was tough because people are like, well, I don't even really like video games, Drew. Like I appreciate it though. I like what you're doing though, bro. Like that kind of answer. And I was like, fuck. Right. And I don't even love video games, dude. Like I like the technology. Like I like fucking turning on the settings all the way and turning on the fucking thing and be like, whoa, dude, look at the graphics. And like, But as far as like, I haven't finished a video game and I can't tell you how long, like forever. So I didn't love video games. I realized like it was a pain in the ass trying to get people on. And I said, fuck it, man. I'm gonna start a fucking talk. I'm gonna do a podcast thing. I called it a million other things before I called it a podcast because like it's kind of it's nervous telling people like, yeah, I'm just gonna have people on. We're just gonna talk about what? Trust me, we're just gonna talk. It's kind of weird. And we were doing it where for every new follower, we're giving $1 to a selected charity each month. Yeah, but we have to reevaluate that because we are moving from Twitch. So and you do YouTube subscribers, but I don't get notified the same way I do at Twitch. Twitch is really good at like every time you get a new subscriber, like fucking does a digital cartwheel and like a little parade goes by and like shit. YouTube is just like a really low key, like there's no like fucking special effects that go down or anything.
Yeah,
so
you just go to your account one day and you're like, oh, there's like 20 more people on here.
20 more people.
Right.
So it was fun before because people would like subscribe to the channel. And it would be like that. Da-na-na-na. That's my old band that I was playing drums in. So I own the music. That's why I used it.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude. So now we're just doing a fucking podcast, moving to YouTube.
Well, I mean, the first thing I think I said when you invited me to come do this is I was like, dude, I haven't played a video game in probably 5 years.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's not going to be very fun to watch me play video games.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that, you know what? And that's not even, and that's not, first of all, number one, that's such a typical answer
Yeah.
because the type of it, I feel like there's a correlation between the type of people who like really enjoy playing video games and their willingness to talk into a microphone about stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it seemed to be there was a very bold line between the two. So it's kind of like you need to go all in with one or you need to go all in with the other. And if you can get somebody who's playing video games and they're really fun to talk to and stuff, chances are they're already doing some sort of fucking Twitch thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was easier to just be like, you know, scrape this and yeah, and then it was perfect storm because the fucking sobriety thing and this is great too because I feel like I have a responsibility to upkeep. Like I feel like if I was to fuck up and start fucking around with drugs or whatever again, I feel like I would let at least somebody down, you know, somebody who's like, yo, man, like you're not supposed to fuck up, Drew. Like I come in and I listen to you talk about sobriety or whatever. And even if that's not the case, that's kind of my fuel for keep showing up, you know?
Yeah, there's an accountability to it. Not just to your sobriety, but even just to continue putting these out. And I'm sure if you started going full party mode Drew again, it'd be a lot more difficult to like, you know, arrange for people to come over and schedule it, make sure you were keeping up, you know, the same kind of schedule. So.
For sure. And like, I spend so much time like always doing something, you know, it's like one thing that has really opened my eyes about sobriety is like the difference when you're an addict. And I don't really know like what addict means, you know, because it's like I was never like breaking into people's houses and stuff, but I was willing to sacrifice my everyday responsibilities.
Yeah, to me, it's just whenever your life becomes unmanageable.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, because it can be, you know, porn, it can be, you know, sex, drugs, alcohol, you know, whatever, rock and roll.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's
guilty as charged.
It's kind of at whatever point that like the thing that you're obsessing over makes the rest of your life unmanageable.
For sure. Do you call yourself an addict? See, I'm right there too, dude. I'm like, well, I don't really know because like
I have the personality of an addict.
I feel like I'm strong enough not to be tied down to something like that. I feel like I don't feel like I'm at risk, you know? Like I feel like saying that title is unfair to people who are like I have a buddy in town who like has like ran from the cops and like all like crazy shit, been like drunk and fell on a skateboard so bad he got put into a coma and like he can't be around people drinking because he'll take the bottle from him and start drinking. That's a fucking addict to me, you know?
No, and I think there's levels to it.
There is levels to it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I
didn't mean to only talk to you about sobriety, by the way.
Yeah, no, I mean, we kind of started talking about it when I showed up anyway. So, no, I think it's just different for everyone. You know, it's the whole, your bottom is whenever you stop digging. It's like, you know, it's pretty easy to see when your life is starting to become unmanageable. And I think everybody who's in that position knows deep down that it's happening.
Yeah.
It's just, when are you going to deal with it?
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I mean, props to you for at least recognizing that there was something going on in your life that, you know, whether it was addiction or whatever, that, you know, you realized.
It just happened kind of late, dude. Like, happened when I was like 28.
Dude, there's some people that get sober when they're 50.
Yeah,
you know
live their whole life like that,
you know, they've hit someone with their car and killed them, and now they're so, you know, there's
I know,
people that,
Jesus, dude.
You know, it's not like it's not like you ruined a marriage and a family, and, you know, I mean,
oh my goodness.
You know, you hear about these guys who, you know, have kids and they're just trying to get sober. I mean, so you're relatively young. I mean,
so what is your, and I don't mean to, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but what's your everyday, how do you partake in recreational whatever? Like because like a couple beers. Drinking's not a thing for you though.
No, I mean, it was. I've had periods where I was drinking a lot. And there have been periods in my life where I've noticed where I'm not just drinking with like people, but it was like you get in the habit of coming home and like starting to drink, you know, a couple glasses of wine after work, or
Yeah.
So I was working after college. I started working at this real
Yeah,
estate company.
let's talk about you a little bit, dude. So you went up to school. So everybody, real quick, this is my boy Matt Daniel. He is from the Costa crew I used to hang out with. I used to sing for a metalcore band called Anacrusis, and Matt was in a
Shout out to Anna Crew.
Yeah, you still have Anacru tatted on your fucking lip
Since when I was 16.
That's fucking crazy, dude. That's fucking psycho. Matt Daniel was like, he was a local kid in the circle. He played bass for us one show at the Jocelyn Center.
Yep.
I lived at his house for the better part of a summer. Stephen Davis too.
Yep.
And just because El Segundo was pretty fucking far away.
Yeah. I remember when we finally figured out the 232 bus that came to El Segundo, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, for sure.
All these times of just skateboarding down the Strand to try to get to El Segundo.
Yes.
Or like, I was like, "There's a bus that goes here."
And then there was then like the last year of us hanging out, the Beach City Transit existed, and it drops you off in front of the Green Store.
Yeah.
Like from the high school in front of the Green Store.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But yeah, I used to go down. I sang for the band, and I'd go meet these dudes on Friday. At Costa when we were out of school, and I'd come home Sunday, and Matt was one of the kids we'd hang out with.
Yeah, you guys would usually have band practice on Friday, and I would just always kind of hang out. And then you'd spend the night at my house or someone's house.
Yeah,
and then...
it was cool. Yeah, you guys were all cool for taking me in. I was just telling the original Razzmatazz story the other day. Do you remember that when I screamed original Razzmatazz at Jamba Juice at that chick? Yeah, I was talking about Adam Stone and like how cool Adam Stone was. Like he was pretty cool for taking care of us. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I remember we called you Elmo.
Yeah.
Because you would laugh so hard your face would get like beet red.
Yeah, it would get beet red, and I just like I couldn't contain myself.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. So that's like the first real times of me like smoking pot and like cigarettes and stuff was with this group of kids. We just like we grew up together, and then I wasn't in the band anymore, and just naturally life happened, man. We went our separate ways, and then so let's hear it, dude. So you ended up going, we don't have to talk about the sobriety anymore, but you ended up getting involved with the program.
Right, yeah. Basically
and it was like, I'll go to Humboldt.
Yeah, well, I'd gotten accepted to Humboldt before I got sober.
Oh, okay.
Was the things. So yeah, I mean, really quick version. Basically, my parents kind of figured out what was going on, and it was actually right at the point where I was kind of starting to get concerned about, when you start using opiates, and I was smoking heroin for enough of a period of time where I tried to stop and started feeling really shitty, and I mean, started recognizing that like, I'm really having trouble stopping, and it kind of really kind of came to a head as my mom went through my car and found a bunch of stuff. They put me in this outpatient rehab program called Thelma McMillan, and got introduced to AA meetings through there. Started doing that whole thing, and went up to Humboldt, clean and sober, started studying psychology, and kept, got a sponsor up there and kept going to meetings, and started doing the college thing. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like,
What'd you go to school for?
Psychology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that a big school for psychology?
It has a really good program.
Nice.
Yeah, it's big for like biology and like wildlife and kind of like outdoor sciences.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a great area. There's really good like anthropology majors, wildlife.
People do like eco sciences, like LEED certified shit up there. Like
Yeah, like I went to school with like a lot of people who are like trying to be game wardens, or they're trying to be, they were like big into forestry and all that kind of stuff.
For sure.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's a really cool area up there, man. Another world. It's like,
man, yeah,
it's right at that borderline where like you almost can't believe it's fucking California still.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about the redwood curtain. And, you're driving up, and it's like all of a sudden you lose cell reception for like a whole hour, and you're driving up, and it's like it changes pretty rapidly once you get to the dense redwood forest.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you start seeing these like old logging towns, and then you pop up into Eureka, which is kind of at first glance a little sketchy looking.
It is sketchy
And,
looking, dude. It's like I don't know, dude. It's weird. It's real weird.
Yeah, I mean, I have some friends that have bought houses up in Eureka, and there's some really cool spots, and there is actually like a pretty cool kind of group of like local people up there, like young people who are really trying to like revamp it. Like,
Oh, good.
Like really bringing the arts up there, and a lot of great food.
Yeah,
and,
it's got the potential for that, for sure. Yeah. It's a lot of creative people up there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Huge, yeah. So yeah, and then Arcata, which is where the university is like the next town over, and that's kind of like the first time I went up there. It feels like it's like stuck in like 1970.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a time warp. But the first time I went up there, I was like, oh, I dig this.
For sure,
Yeah.
you were into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's where the forest meets the ocean. I mean,
For sure.
there's some great places to go surfing up there.
You surfed up there?
Yeah.
What kind of wetsuit?
I mean, a lot of if you're gonna surf in like the middle of the winter, or 5'4".
5'4".
Yeah, hood, gloves, booties, the whole thing. All I had was I had a 4.3 with gloves and booties, so I wouldn't surf in like the middle of the winter.
5'4", dude.
Yeah, it's
what
like
the fuck?
It's like almost a dry suit.
Yeah,
yeah. The water gets fucking cold.
And does that keep water off of you? 5'4"?
I've never worn one, to be honest. So I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
for sure. So you would go in with a 4.3. Were you cold?
Yeah, I would kind of surf with. I wasn't surfing. I didn't have a car up there, so I wasn't surfing super consistently.
Yeah. But you had a couple times.
Yeah. We'd go up.
You longboard, right?
Yeah, up there I had my longboard up there
For sure.
But it was like there's a beach called Moonstone Beach. Which there's we go down with some buddies who would go rock climbing on the beach, and we'd be playing frisbee. We'd bring a bunch of food and stuff, and
For sure.
kind of hang out for the day. And a bunch of us would go. A couple of me and my buddies would go surfing.
Super fun.
There's also a large great white population up there.
Oh yeah.
So
there is in Santa Cruz too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, what's up with that? So is it, and from the San Jose Sharks is the fucking NHL team.
Yeah.
Is there just Sharks from Santa Cruz north? Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, the Central Coast all the way up through the Pacific Northwest there's a pretty big great white population. And now because of like the waters changing and all that stuff, you're starting to see more great whites down south.
Fuck.
They kind of, I guess,
Santa Barbara even, huh?
Well, dude, even in Orange County.
Oh
they
God.
were spotting like 15-foot great whites.
Fuck that.
It was like a couple years ago. They had like some helicopter was flying over, and this is like maybe 50 yards away from like the lineup where people are surfing.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I was surfing the pier with my buddy. I'm real good buddies with Kevin Williams.
Oh yeah. I grew up with. I went to elementary school with him.
Yeah, Kevin Williams is a buddy of mine.
Nice.
He ended up playing bass in the band that you had heard the notification on.
Okay.
Yeah, small world, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, it's weird that people think San Francisco is like quote unquote NorCal, but like NorCal is
it's literally like
is
the
another.
Center. If you look at California, San Francisco is like the dead center. Almost.
Yes, and Northern California is like another fucking dimension.
When I tell people I went to college in Northern California, they're like, "Oh, were you like Berkeley or San Francisco?"
State,
I'm like, "No, go from the Bay and drive like 5 hours north."
Yeah,
it's like almost Oregon.
But that drive is epic. So me and Kenzie, we rented a minivan and drove it from LA to Vancouver, Canada.
Dude, Vancouver's beautiful.
Dude, Vancouver's sick, but everything in between, people don't understand how epic the West Coast is, and like and I'm not saying that like, yo, West Coast, best coast, but
it is.
But it's so fucking diverse from Vancouver to the desert of Los Angeles. And I say the desert because that's what it is. Well, if you find yourself in the hills down south, like outside of Orange County, Anaheim Hills and shit, I mean, it really is a fucking desert. And I mean, there's such like the Pacific Northwest is. And especially if you're driving up the one, because we just blindly went up the one. We were like, let's just take the one. I mean, you can't fuck it up.
So had you not really heard about like Big Sur, or did you know what to expect, or were you kind of surprised?
We had, but it was the first time. Like, I mean, like I had done something big for me was like when I was in high school, I went to Set It Straight / show in San Francisco with like Allegiance and like all these San Francisco bands. So like I had been up that way, but San Francisco was like the trip, like with your buddies, you know? So like I'd been to San Francisco and I had dropped Pat off with my family in Eureka.
Okay, yeah.
But I had never like anything past that. I've done like a Portland trip with my buddies, because people migrated. I don't know if you have any friends, but a lot of my friends migrated from here to Portland.
Oh yeah, no, I have a bunch of buddies that I went to college with who were either from Portland and then came down to Humboldt and went back, or like people who now live
Portland's
in Portland.
fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, man. No, it's
Portland's epic.
Yeah. No, I think it's like one of the great American cities.
It's so cool, dude. It's
Yeah.
so cool. So yeah, so what we did, I'm just trying to think but that area, so what we did is we got to Eureka, and then like we got off the one, we saw Pelican Bay, prison up there,
right.
which is a trip, dude, because like I guess I don't really know what to expect. And in retrospect, I'm thankful that it wasn't as big, but it was kind of just like, oh, that's the prison. Like, it wasn't like, I thought it would be like this fucking, because you only really see it in like Oz and like Grand Theft Auto and shit, and it's this huge place, but it's really just like this super fenced in fucking place. It was just wild.
No, I mean, if you've ever seen like the Twin Towers by downtown LA.
You know what?
It's
I
like,
haven't, dude.
There's like two they look kind of like they're like two 5-story office buildings with really tiny windows.
Really? I think I have seen. Yeah, see, like I can't even depict what it exactly is. I just just rolled up to it and we saw it and we were like, okay. Then we went inland, like I would say halfway through the state, and then went north to get to like Eugene, or did we go to Bend? I think Eugene's before. We went to Eugene, and dude, we have this fucking crazy story where, so we stop in Eugene and we're like, or we're on our way to Eugene. We stop at this beautiful waterfall from Crater Lake. So we were like, oh, we got to go see Crater Lake, because Crater Lake, for anybody who hasn't seen Crater Lake, you got to go see Crater Lake.
Beautiful.
It's next level. It's definitely looks like, and that little island in the middle of it too. It's just like this, and it was snowing. And so there was like this winter fog, or it looked like Game of Thrones. It was like this really weird fucking vibe. It was really cool. So we got there and it was like 3:00 in the afternoon. We were like, wow, this is great. Let's bounce though, and let's get to Eugene, because it's winter. It's around winter, like early spring. So it's getting dark around like 6:00 ish.
Yeah.
So we dip, and the crazy thing is like we're in Oregon now. And we're just using our map, right? Because Crater Lake's in the middle of the state. And we're just following the roads the fucking phone's telling us to go to.
Right.
So it's getting dark. I'm in the shotgun seat, and we stop by this waterfall, and we're like, yeah, take this road. Yeah, take this road. This is the one, take a right. And we end up on this fucking road. And I knew it was kind of weird, because it was like, take a right and it was like NA dash something dash something, like a coordinate.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like these like Oregon's weird, dude. Me and Kenzie, it's raining, it's windy. We have like a quarter tank of gas left, and it's putting us on this like side of a fucking mountain, dude. We take a right, and like it's like one of like the Hollywood driveways, like
super steep.
It's like a bank. You bank a right, and you're like going up a fucking like wall.
Yeah.
And we ended up on this, and the sun's going down, and Kenzie's driving, and there's fucking deer and shit in the street. There's like
fucking nature.
Yeah,
all over the place.
There's nature everywhere. That we're on the side of a mountain, and it was just like, it was fucking crazy. And I couldn't help but think like, of course, like how Californian of us to like just assume that every road is gonna be like
somewhere you want to go.
Yeah, just paved and like fucking good to go, and stoplights, and because here we are in fucking backcountry Oregon, and like we're thinking about just like stopping the car, putting it in park, hoping we don't slide off this fucking mountain, and just like sitting there like, damn, like we gotta wait till either sunrise comes up or it stops raining or what. It was fucking, I felt like a fucking city slicker, dude, because this rain and shit had us so rattled. The fucking trees were in the middle of the road and shit. Oregon's sketchy, but once you get, that was like the only issue. Other than that, like the Pacific Northwest is probably one of the most beautiful places on the planet.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's Bigfoot country.
Yeah. Bigfoot country. That's right.
That's where he's at.
And then Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver. I have some buddies that live up there now, and I've gone up to visit them. And like we did this trip to Vancouver Island. Like went to Victoria,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
the
yeah.
capital of British Columbia.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we
yeah.
went up. There's I guess a town called Tofino on the northern coast, which is like the surfing capital of British Columbia.
Oh, really?
And dude, me and my buddy Mike were out surfing. Dude, we were like seeing bears in the forest, and we're surfing like there's like this point with like bald eagles flying over us, and I'm just like,
Really?
holy shit,
Dude,
Yeah.
Canada is fucking illustrative.
Dude, unbelievable, illustrative. That's
Yeah,
right.
like
Yeah,
that.
nice use.
We were in we did like the Stanley Park thing,
yeah.
and we had, so what we were doing in this van is we got ourselves a van that had electrical plugs in it, so we could just
Okay. So is this like a minivan or like a camper van?
no, it's like a Dodge Grand Caravan,
Okay,
but the back seats fold to flat,
There you go. Nice.
and
That's how I drove in high school. Was a Dodge Grand Caravan.
the white one.
Yeah, the white one.
Yeah,
the
that's right.
Vanimal.
Yeah, the Vanimal. Yeah, dude. This
Yeah.
one would fold to flat, and
Yeah.
like this back seats would fold underneath the floor,
Right.
and we'd just blow up an air mattress.
Nice.
But that's harder than it's more expensive than you think, dude, because it's illegal to just be sleeping in your cars most places, and KOAs, Campsites of Americas,
Yeah.
or whatever it is, are
Yeah.
like fucking $50 a night or something. And when you're just like or like $35 a night, and when you're just like two kids trying to make like this like fucking movie life road trip, you know,
Right.
that
I know,
shit
like
adds up.
Walmart parking lots are great, or if you find
Yeah.
like BLM land, which is like just federally, it's like public land,
Yeah,
which there's a lot of those forests up there. You can just park there, and I know some people have done kind of like the big, very extended road trip,
yeah.
and I guess Walmart has a policy where like they just don't give a shit if you're parking and sleeping in their parking lot. So
Damn.
a lot of times you'll see a bunch of RVs parked in them,
For sure.
or like like a 24-hour fitness, like those 24-hour gyms people
Oh.
will park in.
Oh, good
Just
move.
businesses where there's people there all hours of the night, so it's not weird if there's a car parked there.
Good move.
Yeah.
Do you ever travel outside the country? Outside of Vancouver and stuff? Like, do you
in
try to get
Canada?
to Europe or whatever?
Yeah, no, I've I went to Croatia. Me and Grady went there after my first year in Humboldt. It was the first place I went out of the country.
yeah.
Grady and I went to Croatia.
He's in Louisiana.
He just moved to Austin, Texas.
No, he
Yeah.
had to, dude.
Yeah.
He's like the most like, I don't know, because his dad is like kind of, he's got a little
His dad's
like,
from Texas.
a
Yeah,
little twang on him
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. How's his brother?
he's doing great. Yeah, I went surfing with him and his brother. Might have been like around Easter or something. I
Cool.
forget. Yeah, they were home for some holiday and we went surfing.
That's fucking
But,
epic, dude. And then
yeah.
Ian's got the Dead Calloway thing going.
That's right. Ian was just texting me, so I think he might be watching it.
Oh, really?
Hi, Ian.
Yo,
if
what
you-
up? What up, Ian? Yeah, dude. I'm so stoked Ian's writing music.
Yeah, he's got an album coming out.
Yeah,
in
August
a
1st,
few
right?
days. Yeah,
Yeah.
3 days or something like that.
Yeah, for
See,
sure.
I remembered.
Yeah, it's Thursday.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm stoked on that.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I know I've
Croatia.
gotten lucky to travel a lot around here. I did a study abroad in Finland when I was in college, so I lived in
What?
Finland for 6 months.
What the
And,
fuck?
Yeah, man.
Speaking Finnish or
Well, so I wanted to go to Australia and I missed the deadline for the Australia program, and I went to the study abroad office and I was like, "Hey, I want to go to Australia. Here's all my paperwork." And she was like, "Wait, I don't even know who you are. You're supposed to have attended all these orientation meetings to where we figure out what program's best for you. All the da 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 da." And she's like, "Plus, you missed the deadline." And I was like, "Oh shit, I really want to study abroad next semester. Are there any other programs that teach psychology courses in English?" And she was like, "In Finland." And I was like, "All right, I'll go to Finland." And she was like, "Wait, hold." She's like, "What do you know about Finland?" And I was like, "I don't know. They speak Finnish." Like,
yeah,
and so
I think that's what it's called.
and the only reason I think they let me get into the program was they were getting ready to discontinue the Finland study abroad. Like nobody had gone in a long time. Because it's kind of a bizarre place to want to go.
Really? Is that what do you still feel that way? Dude,
I had a great time.
You were there for fucking 6 months.
Yeah. No, I had a blast.
That's
dude,
gnarly.
like I went to Russia, Estonia, Sweden. I met these British guys. I spent Christmas in England. My buddy that I visited in Vancouver is one of those British guys. He now lives in Canada. So like I stayed with like this Belgian guy I met when I did it, like some travels with my ex, and like this French guy outside Paris. So I ended up meeting
Dude,
all these
did you
people.
run with the
around.
Bulls?
Oh, I did, yeah, in Pamplona. Yeah,
That's gnarly, dude.
that's up there on my list of like running the marathon, or like when I whatever, when I'm old and I look back on my life, where like certain things that I'm like, man, I'm so glad I did that. That's definitely one of them.
Running with the bulls.
Yeah,
Did you
absolutely.
do like the tomato fight and shit?
No, we didn't do the tomato fighting, but like, you bring these like jugs of wine and you like spray wine all over people. So like
At the running of the bulls?
yeah,
For sure.
But it's like, you're kind of up all night in the streets and you're drinking wine and walking around or whatever. And I was like, man, I'm kind of worried. Like I wanted to do the running of the bulls, but I'm really tired. Like I'm worried that like I'm not going to get any sleep and then I'm going to have like the wherewithal to run with bulls. And I was worried I was going to be really exhausted because
You're worried about being exhausted?
Yeah.
What about getting like fucking impaled by a bull?
Well, that was the thing. I underestimated like the adrenaline rush that comes when all of a sudden there's hundreds of people running at you and there's a bull coming at you and all of a sudden
Is
you're
it
just like
one
wide
bull?
awake. No, they release I'm going to say 7, but it's several bulls.
Do
Yeah.
people die?
My year they did, but they have died. Yeah. There's a corner called, I think they call it Dead Man's Curve, where it's like a really sharp right turn. And that's where people have a tendency to slip and fall, or the bulls will slip and fall and like squish people, I guess, for the layman.
Whoa.
So you can kind of start throughout the course. So me and, my ex was living in San Sebastian at the time. So I met some of these guys that were doing her study abroad program. So we were all kind of hanging out. And we kind of set up like right before the curve so that like we could just get around it before the bulls get to us.
Like a mile before or like half a mile?
No, I mean the
before?
whole course is like a quarter mile, maybe a half mile.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah. It's not like a super long running. I could be wrong. Maybe there's someone that knows more about this who's like, what an idiot. But
Well, you did it.
I know, but I don't honestly like the
So
running
like
is
two
an actual
laps,
kind of a
two
blur.
laps on a high school track field.
Yeah, maybe the whole thing's like a half mile, but we kind of started
What?
sort of around like the middle point of it. But there's like, you're looking down this like long, cobblestone streets, and there's like all these balconies with people watching. And as the bulls get closer, people on the balcony will wave these like scarf hanky type things. So you're like looking, getting ready to start running, and you like just start seeing people like waving scarves, and they're getting closer and closer to you. And I was like, okay, I think they're coming. And like, I'm kind of like looking around, like I don't see them. And all of a sudden, this thing just goes like its back was at my eye level, and I was like, oh fuck. So like, I just started taking off running behind it, and people are like slipping and falling. So you're trying to jump over.
So you're
people.
running behind the bull?
Yeah, they run faster than I thought they would. I thought it was something where like I could outrun them, but like there's a bunch of bulls, so like I was running like next to them. So like one bull passed, so I start running and I'm kind of next to it, but there's bulls coming behind me. So I'm kind of trying
Are they trying to fuck you up? What are the bulls doing?
I think
Like
I mean,
if you had to guess what's going
bull
through the
is
bull's
thinking,
head?
he's
Yeah,
probably thinking, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. So the bulls are just trying to like, hey, this is fucking crazy. I got to get out of here.
Yeah, well,
and they're just running.
They light off a really loud firework and then they like open the bulls to the streets. And I think it's like they're just freaked out because they hear this really loud bang, so they just take off running. And it's like they put like fences up so they're corralled in a certain direction. So I think they're just trying to just go away from the loud noise.
For sure.
And then there's a bunch of drunk people in like all white outfits with like red scarves and sashes and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But you run it into like I forget the word, but it's like the arena where they have bullfights. You run the bulls into this big arena, and then they close it off once the bulls are inside.
And then they do a bullfight?
Well, no, I didn't realize what happened once you were in there. I just thought you run him in, and then everyone goes, yay, and then you go home. But like you're in this arena, and they just start letting bulls loose in there. So you're just in like a trapped, like you're trapped in like a little.
And it's supposed to be like, whoa, don't get hit by the bull.
Yeah, but it's like they're like these bulls, they have like their balls tied up and they're really pissed off. So like
Really?
there's a big thing where like you're not supposed to touch them, or like you're supposed to respect the bulls. So they'll have like rolled up newspaper that they'll hit them with. And kind of the whole goal is like to try to get close enough to touch it, but obviously not
die.
fucked up. Yeah. This one guy though ran up to the bull and grabbed onto its tail.
What an idiot.
And was like swinging it around and I didn't, this is how I learned about the whole respect the bull thing, which is a really big thing in Spanish culture. So he's swinging this bull around by the tail and all this stuff. And all of a sudden people just start jumping this guy, like beating the shit out of him. And he's trying to get away from these people. He runs up into the stand. People in the stands are running down and start like kicking him and like really fucking him up.
No way.
And apparently that's like a big no-no is you got to respect the bull.
No shit, dude. Respect the bull.
Respect the bull.
RTB, baby.
Yeah. RTV.
God
Run the
damn,
bulls.
that's crazy. So, and then that's not in the same city that the tomato fight's in? This is
I don't
Spain,
know.
right?
Yeah, it's in Spain.
Okay.
I know there. I don't think the tomato fight is like associated with that particular festival, but maybe it is. But I didn't see any tomato fights.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know they do like a tomato fight.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
very cool that you've gotten to travel. See, that's one of the things that like I missed out on. Like I was so high that I just like was like, no, man, let's not go anywhere. I did go to Thailand.
Nice.
I went to Thailand for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, you and Kenzie went, right?
Yeah, Kenzie's making me travel way more than my natural self
There you go.
would.
Good job, Kenzie.
Yeah, Kenzie's making me get out. We're going to Spain and Morocco next month.
Dude, awesome.
For 2 months. Have you been to Spain or Morocco? Oh, Spain, yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Spain, not Morocco. I wanted to go to Morocco, but we just never
Apparently
made it.
Morocco's got surf, son.
Yeah.
Apparently there's some good surf in Morocco. And it's warm.
I surfed in Portugal.
Yeah.
Which is just the west of Spain.
Navarre or whatever that fucking spot is called.
We went like by or Nazaré, where the biggest waves in the world are. But there's a really cool spot called Super Tubos, where it's just like this big kind of like
Super
Tubos, yeah.
Woo.
It's this spot where it's just like it's like a big kind of it's almost like a big cove.
Yeah.
There's a big point, and it's just the way that the cove is oriented. There's just like a perfect right barrel that all consistently breaks there.
I'm loving that right barrel.
Yeah.
Are you goofy or regular?
Regular.
Oh,
yes,
right.
I'm all about it. Yeah,
rights are, dude. Lefts are so awkward for me still, dude.
Yeah.
I just can't vibe them. They're like, I don't know. It's just different.
Well, yeah, some of the backside, trying to get your back to it and trying to figure out where it's going.
Yeah, it's like cutting down on like pressing up on your heels, but like not getting your board to go into the wave, but more like pressing. I don't know. It's just weird, dude. Getting your board to like pump on a left and not making it look like you're just like.
Yeah, just flapping.
Yeah, it's still, but a right is different story, dude. Right is like you can really like you can move like this, the way a wave board is advertised,
right?
You know, yeah. Fuck. So we're doing that. We did the Canada thing.
Or where are you going in Spain?
Shit, I don't know for sure, man. But I know we're going to like we're not going to Sevilla. We're going to like Madrid. We're doing like a couple days in Spain, like maybe 4 or 5. But the big thing is like getting to Morocco.
Yeah. I've always wanted to go to Morocco. I just haven't made it.
Yeah, and I don't even know what to expect. That's like Thailand. I think like I have a huge different thing. Like anybody who wants to travel, do not Google anything because like the internet will keep you fucking home, dude.
Yeah.
I like went and got shots because I thought like a pterodactyl was gonna attack me in Thailand. Like the craziest amount of information, but it was seriously the most mellow, fun fucking time I've ever had with like the most respectful people. Have you ever been to Thailand?
I haven't, but I've heard the Thai people are lovely.
The Thai people are
great. Yeah.
Buddhist, period, are just so cool to be around.
No, I've heard everyone's just like a genuinely nice, like good-hearted person.
Yeah, for sure. And
outside of Bangkok, I've heard other things in
Bangkok is a little weird, but I was on King Sao Road, which is like it's like I don't know. I would say it's like their Fremont Street, like, you know, in Vegas. Like, it's like, I don't know. It's just like one stretch where there's like markets and hotels and stuff. I was there twice. So like we were there the first time we flew into Bangkok, we were there and had everything we needed right there.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't like going across the but we ended up using Google Translate, which is like kind of a trip. And
like
I know
you just speak into it and hold it out.
And it's like, and it will say, but we were picking up on some of the language a little bit. Like we were able to order food by the end of it. And
you learned what white devil is in Thai?
Well, here's the thing. It's funny you say that. It's because when we'd say we were American, the reaction was much more reserved compared to when we said we were from California.
Oh, yeah.
If they're like, where are you from?
Yeah.
And if we said America, they'd be like, ooh.
Yeah.
Keep our fucking eyes on these guys.
Even one different is if you say you're from Los Angeles.
Oh, really?
They go, oh, Hollywood.
Hollywood, dude. The dude fucking played Hotel California by the Eagles like 8 times, dude. From King Sao Road to the airport is like a fucking 50-minute drive or something like that. And it was nonstop Hotel California.
He just keeps looking at you in the rearview mirror like,
Hotel California. Like every time he said that, and I was like, dude, I know. But I think it's a hotel in Mexico. Like, is what the song's about. Is Hotel California is a place in Mexico, I think, by the lyrics. So
I don't know.
It was just backwards. It was just like, I don't know. I knew what he was, but that just goes to show what a sweetheart the guy was. He was just like making his effort to make a relation with a stranger, you know. But it It was all figured out via Google Translate.
Yeah.
And and then we told.
That reminds me real quick of in The Big Lebowski where he's in the cab.
Yes.
And he's like, "Look, man, can we just shut this off?" And he's like, "You don't like my music? You get out of my cab." And he's like, "Look, man, I've had a long fucking day and I hate the fucking Eagles." It's like, "You get out of my cab."
Dude, this guy did not hate the fucking evil. It seemed like this guy had been waiting his whole. It came down to this moment. We said California and like just lit up like a Christmas
This is what
tree.
we train for.
Yeah, this is why we play.
Yeah.
Exactly. Dude, but when we told people, honestly, in the farther southern we got, Kenzie had a midriff showing.
Mm-hmm.
There was some Muslim women who disagreed strongly with Kenzie's outfits. Like we were in Phuket, which is fucking gross. Phuket's that's like where the fucking ping pong shows are and shit. That's like what it's known. I didn't end up going to one, and
I think I can picture it enough where I'm like, I get it.
Well, I've just been on YouTube enough, and like I'm from the generation of the internet. Like I know what's going on.
I've seen way crazier shit on the internet.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
You're gonna surprise me.
Yeah. So we ended up, we got offered, and it seems super like when you're on the Vegas Strip and like people are hitting you with the fucking cards, and it's like strippers.
Yeah.
This would be like the equivalent. This made me feel like if I actually went to one of these ping pong shows, I would be calling the stripper on the card and be like, "Hey, heard you're a stripper," So I was like, "No, we don't need to do it. Whatever." But in retrospect, I probably should have went. Probably should go. And man, it was just fucking crazy. We were hammered. Kenzie got bit by like a dog.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was. We were toasted.
Yeah,
we were toasted. But we walked up to the stand, and I was like, "Whoa, Kenzie, what is this?" Because there's like bugs like on skewers and shit. Like there's just weird. Another country shit,
like a market or a vendor. Or
and this chick had a hijab on. I think this is what it's called. And Kenzie walked up with a midriff and like was just being Kenzie to this person, and this chick was like, I will stab you in the face. Like looking at her like hatred. It was crazy. But that was my only thing. It's Thailand. So there was a little bit of before we went up and like talked to everybody, there was a little bit of identification of like, hold on, we might not be properly like.
Gotcha.
It turned down. The Buddhists were super cool, but with the people who looked like they were Muslim, we had to dial it down a little bit. And come over very respectfully, try to cover up a little bit.
Right.
And then it all was well. But it's just like different viewpoints, and
that's part of traveling. Yeah.
That's part of traveling. You gotta assimilate, dude. Yeah. It was rude of us to had not acknowledged that. That's the way I gotta look at it.
I don't know if it's rude. You just didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some stuff you don't know until
that was it.
Someone says they're gonna stab you in the face for showing your belly button.
This chick would have won that fight, dude. I could tell. There was it was not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. This chick's fight in the dog was fucking huge, dude. Chad, great name, dude. Yeah, it was great. There's some places that I'd like to go. Obviously, like, like not drinking and traveling is kind of a thing because like I've always wanted to go to Ireland, and I'm sure it's like still super great to go to, but like
I've never been. That's one country I really want to get to.
Half the reason I wanted to go was like drink fucking Guinness out of the factory because like the urinals like fucking have Guinness coming out of them or some shit. You hear stories about the Guinness factory, and it's like you fucking push a button and a fucking Guinness flies into your lap.
The jacuzzi has Guinness in it.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's so apparently the craziest shit. But yeah, there's some other. I'd like to go to Africa. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I'd like to go
Morocco's
to Africa.
Yeah,
but like Africa.
Yeah,
like more southern type shit. Just to get like the perspective. You see some like, especially there's like in Bangkok, there was some poverty that was like savage, like amputated arms, like type poverty.
A buddy of mine went there, and he said the saddest thing he saw there. There was just like this little kid who was asking for money, and he had a bunch of paint, and this kid was covered in paint, and the idea was like you give him money and you can just like paint all over him. So he said people would like throw coins in this bucket, and they'd pick up a paintbrush and just like rub it all over this kid's face. So there was just paint all over him.
That's fucked up.
And he just like gave the kid money. I was like, no, like
yeah. Fuck that. We ended up but in a testament to how cool the everyday Thai person is me and Kenzie were taking a scooter and we were on the border of not Cambodia but Laos.
Yeah.
We were on the border of Laos and on our way to King Sao Road and or not King Sao Road. Well, we were in the northern city of Pai, which you would love.
I heard it's beautiful. Yeah.
It's fucking crazy
Yeah,
up
yeah.
there. It's next. It's like a dream world. It's like
Yeah.
everybody's a traveler. Everybody's on scooters.
Yeah.
Everybody's like
I think that's where my sister's boyfriend's dad lives now. It's either Chiang Mai or Pai. I forget. But,
Chiang. So they're both northern city.
Yeah.
Chiang Mai has like got a lot of temples and shit. Pai is like grasslands and like epic. I don't know. It's just so fucking cool. Kind of like a Venice Beach vibe. Out in Pai. Yeah, super.
Like the good parts of Venice
yeah,
Beach.
Yeah. Well, like super, like almost hip and touristy, and like everybody is on a scooter, dude. Like and you get scooters for like $2 a day, $3 a day type.
Oh, damn.
And gas is like to fill up is like 25-50 cents or some shit. So you're just whipping these scooters everywhere. We took a scooter, so we were in Pai, and we took a scooter like an hour and a half north towards Laos to get to this cave, biggest cave in the world. It's got to be one of the biggest caves in the world. It's huge, dude. So you could fit a ship in it, and people are going too. Like you're seeing foreigners, hey, what up? You guys going to the cave? And fucking in whatever accent back, cave. And like now you're like rolling like
fuck this cave up, bro.
some weird motley crew on scooters. You guys are all cruising. It was a blast, dude. So, but on the way back, we're going, and all of a sudden we start swerving, and I was lucky enough to like catch it. Kenzie's on the back, and I caught it, and we slowed down. We have a fucking flat tire, and we're like,
oh shit,
we're like in the jungle, dude.
Yeah.
We're like the roads are paved, but we're like, well, so I'm like, oh, no biggie, like we're gonna call the scooter place and just let them know we got a flat tire, and they're gonna roll through in their Thai tow truck and come pick us up, and we're all gonna be good,
That's how it would work in America.
That's how it fucking works. I called them, and they were pretty much just like in broken fucking English told me like, oh, so you need another day with a scooter. And I was like, no. And then it was pretty much just that was the circle of the conversation before I was
kind of like, we're going to charge you more. You figure it out. Just get it back.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck. And I was worried. Kenzie said she wasn't worried, but I was fucking worried. Dude, so people are just passing us, and I'm like, fuck, this guy on a dirt bike comes and pulls over on a dirt bike, and I'm like, fuck, man. And immediately I'm an idiot American. I'm thinking Rambo, like I'm like, oh, dude, we're dead, like we're fucking dead, dude. Like how close are we to fucking Cambodia? Like I don't know. I'm just being an idiot, because you're not in situations like that in America. So So this guy gets off his dirt bike and he walks up and he's got a motorcycle helmet, and I'm like, fuck, man, like please be cool, like please be cool. And he's like, and he rolls up, and I'm like, he's like, says something in Thai and like this, and I can't see his mouth, right? I just like hear Thai, and I'm like point to I just crouch down, point to the tire, and I squeeze the tire, and it's flat.
Yeah.
Go shut up. I'm like flat.
Yeah.
And he goes, and he points it, and he scoots forward and points to his back seat. And I'm like, oh no. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what he was saying. And I was like, fuck. So I go to Kenzie and I give her like a movie kiss. Like, yo, I love you. And like just stay here. Like no matter what happens, stay here. And if I'm not back in like a couple hours and it starts to go down, just hitch a ride with like whoever looks like foreigners or something. Like this is all going through my head, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know what's better. It's like, do you stay by yourself and she goes with the random stranger to go get a tire, or does she stay by herself on the side of a road while you go? It's like they're both kind of equally as bad.
Here's the thing: is like, if I stayed and she went and she never came back, I wouldn't be able to live with myself.
Yeah.
I would just have, and like imagine like having to explaining to her family like why
everything was going great until she left with this guy.
Yeah, you let her go with this guy. Well, yeah,
he seemed cool.
It wasn't gonna be me, like the whole thing was just bad. So I hopped on this bike And I gave her like the movie kiss and was like, "Hey, I love you. Whatever happens, just
Remember me.
yeah, just stay here." And uh, you know, like we do have cell service if something happens. You know, like you'll figure it out, but like
Yeah.
you'll call somebody and let them
So
know.
did you guys both have phones on you?
We both had phones, but it was kind of like, well, she didn't have hers really because
Mm.
we had different plans. I had this sick ass plan brought to you in part by AT&T where it was like,
Man, shout out to AT&T.
yeah,
Just doing the Lord's work.
yeah, doing the Lord's work, dude. AT&T had this thing where it was like I would like it was $1 a day roaming, but I had to like use data in order to enable it. So
Yeah.
like there'd be some days if I was parked at the same hotel where I wouldn't use it and they wouldn't charge me anything.
Damn.
Yeah, or it was $5 a day, $5 a day, but I would have to enable it. You know,
Wow.
so it was like I used
Man, they
it.
were way cooler to you. I went to Canada for 3 days and came back with a $500 roaming charge.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you probably didn't let them know that you were going out of town.
No, that's not how I roll.
Yeah, see. Okay, see that's not how I roll thing. That's how
Yeah.
you get that $500 charge.
Yeah.
No, I told them and then they set it up and it was super cool, but they cut your service while you're here in the States.
Gotcha.
So you're supposed to hit them up like in the airport cuz they'll cut your service and then you have to hit them back up. Or no, you give them a date and then
It's like a credit card when you let them know you're traveling.
For
kind of
sure.
thing, yeah.
So, but fucking Verizon was like, yeah, no problem. We'll, international roaming, that's not a problem. That's going to be like $1 million. Like it was way different for her
Yeah.
for some reason. It was like $500 for 3 days type thing. And so I had my phone. So I was kind of in this weird thing where it was like, I have my phone. I don't give a shit how much your thing is. Turn on your service.
Yeah.
Because we need to communicate. This is like one of those things where it's like, I don't want to pay $300, but Andrew's dead.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I was like,
I couldn't get in touch with you, and now we're separated in a foreign country.
yeah, for sure. Like on the in the border, like not like in the country, like we're like weird forest, like Nowheresville, and on top of Thailand. So I hop on this dude's bike, and I'm like, here we go, and we're cruising and we're going back the other way. And here's the road that turned us to the cave. And there's like gas stations and shit. The gas stations are more like a fucking shack with like a pump outside and some person runs out. And, or sometimes they have bottles of gas and they like put a funnel in your tank and they'll pour the Coke bottle, a glass Coke bottle of gas. It's fucking tight and it makes sense. And it's not as glamorous as it is here, but it fucking works and it's tight. I'll say it again.
Man. Yeah.
And I'm like seriously missing Thailand as I'm telling you this story. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I hop on the back of this dude's bike and we're fucking, I'm heading to.
We're fucking.
No, me and this guy, dude, we're fucking each other. And
he's like, oh, I forgot your girlfriend in the tire.
He's
We
like,
gotta fix that.
Wait, hold on, flat tire. And we're going down this road. And we pass where I know the gas stations are. So I'm like, all right, I don't know where we're going now. And we roll up in this town and there's like a farmer's market and shit to the point where like people have their farmer's market stuff like piling into the streets. Like that's how little cars are coming.
Yeah.
And like as they were kind of the people looked at their shit as the bike's coming and seeing if they would need to move their shit in order for this bike to get through. He parks it and just says something, you know, like some Thai shit. And what he said was stay there, and he just bounces. And I'm in the middle of this like Thai market, farmer's market vibe. Like people are out, but it's like, it's fucking legit, dude. I'm sorry I keep dropping the F-bomb for any of Matt's friends and family who are watching this.
No, that's fine.
Fuck. They're like trading goods, which is so cool. It's like I'm just like taking a second to notice, and it's like I'm seeing the person who grows avocados, which they have a lot of avocados in Thailand. Really like tropical weather. Is trading avocados with the person who has like bandages or some shit, like was giving them boxes of something. And they're like trading goods.
Right.
So like it's
like the olden times.
Yeah, like instead of working, like you're just good at what you do and you'll trade what you do for whatever service your family needs. And it was cool to look at. And then the dude was like, come here. And he takes off his fucking helmet. And it's the first time I see his face. And it's like the friendliest fucking face I've ever seen. It's like this like little boy smile and was like kind of like walking me like look who I got with me. And I was like, oh, this is
we're eating good tonight. Look how much meat is on this guy.
Yeah. Well, not so much that, but more just like, I don't know. So we end up in this, takes us to this garage and says some shit. And the garage is not, I don't know. It's not like it's like a weird garage. Yeah.
Do you mean like an auto repair shop garage or just like a house garage?
No, I mean like a garage, like a house garage that would be separated from a house, dude. Like like a garage. And they're talking to each other in Thai, and the guy comes jogging back out. He goes, okay. He thumbs up and just keeps saying okay, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And out from behind the garage, like a 84 Toyota pickup truck comes out, and he's pointing to the back, and I'm like,
no shit.
And I hop on, dude, and the pickup truck goes and picks up Kenzie and the bike, takes it back, and fucking fixes the bike, dude. And there was like no English spoken between this transaction. We gave them like $20, and they charged us like $5. And we gave them $20, the equivalent in bot, and it was the raddest thing they'd ever done. Yeah, and it was, and you know, it's so fucking stupid is because of what we go through and like the amount of greed and shit we see on a regular basis here in the United States. I brought that into that situation, but what really happened is this guy saw me and Kenzie and was just straight up excited to help us out, and the mechanic was excited to help us out, and the people there were excited. In retrospect, were excited to have us in their village visiting and stuff, and they were giving us food. They were giving us giving us gifts because we gave them $20, and it was one of the like for you running for the Bulls, me getting a flat tire and experiencing like foreign humility in a non-Western culture was like one of the most standout moments of my life for sure. Because
and that's one of those things where it's like that's not going to be in like a guidebook. Is like you can go to Thailand, and if you're lucky, maybe you'll get a flat tire, and some good Samaritan will help take. That's like something that you can only. You'll only know that happens by going there and experiencing it.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just like a good-hearted person. They're like, hey, these people need help. Like, I'm going to help them.
Yeah, it's the Buddhist, dude.
He wasn't like, dude, I have a meeting in like 20 minutes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, and you just don't see that. And it was like that. It's weird that, and again, I bring it back is like I was on the internet trying to, because I was scared to travel. I was like Thailand. I was nervous, like the whole thing. I'm a super homebody, dude. And the whole thing, like I was just nervous, man. I like went to the spot called, man, fuck you guys. I don't know. The Passport Health is what they're called.
Passport Health.
Yep, and they're in it's like the part of the valley where they do like castings and stuff, or North Hollywood or some. I think North Hollywood, but they have an office out there, and I went in there, dude, and this chick just proceeded to like sell me $500 needle, like the shots with like I put like $3,000 worth of shots on my card. Yeah. And like she was still telling me to come back and get more, and it was like, and you should have like your hepatitis B shot, your tetanus shot, but man, like. She gave me every reason not to go, and the internet will give you every reason not to travel.
Right.
But like the general rule, the golden rule in traveling is like, and by the way, anywhere you go in the United States is you're getting back as much respect as you're giving. I've never like walked into a bar and not been like, hey man, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on your way, my bad. It doesn't matter who the guy is.
Yeah.
The guy has always been like, oh, it's all good, bro. Don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. No matter what kind of character, draw him out to be any kind of character. You give anybody respect, they're giving it right back, man. And that's the fucking golden rule. The internet doesn't tell you that, though, dude. They all fucking tell you, like, yo, fucking strap your passport to your leg and this and that. It's just,
Yeah,
I don't know. They're like, they can do a good job convincing you it's a really scary place out there. What would you
Yeah.
say the sketchiest country you've been in is, though?
Russia.
Russia,
Yeah,
for sure.
Russia was. There was just like So I only spent time in St. Petersburg, which is Russia's a huge country, so there's a lot of it varies as you go through there, but there was just like a clear kind of seedy underworld there. Sex trafficking's really big there.
Oh yeah.
So I'm there with a bunch of guys. We're all young guys. We're walking around. We're getting approached by all these guys and these huge Russian guys in trench coats. Like, you like young girls, blondes? We have them down here. And it's like and it's just like it just made me feel so grimy.
Yeah.
And we were there for about.
Phuket's got that vibe in Thailand.
Yeah,
it's that kind of place.
Dude, we were all staying in like the same hotel, and on every single table or like there was a desk or a nightstand or in their bathroom, every single thing had a placard saying, "Please do not engage in sex tourism." Like people go to St. Petersburg like just for sex tourism.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I mean, they'll traffic young girls from all over Europe into Russia to basically keep them as like prostitutes.
Like
and
them taken, dude.
Yeah, no, straight up. Like that's a real thing.
That shit is real.
So just being there and knowing that was like, I mean, there's these guys standing in front of like, you walk down this like these, like in New York, there's like those stairs that go to a basement of a building. There's like, just like dark doors and guys in trench coats. Like, you like girls? Come. And to just know that that's going on as you're like all around
like
this
just
city.
Down there.
Yeah, like just like 20 feet, like on the other side of two walls is like some young girl who could be being held against her will. It made me really want to leave.
Yeah.
I saw a woman get mauled by a bear in a Russian circus. I was there for like 1 week, and we saw so much crazy shit that like it was like every single day there was something very bizarre that happened to us. But we went to a Russian circus, and like the classic, like red and white stadium seating. There's like a ring in the middle. You go up. There's like the circus ringleader or whatever. They had like all they had like the seals balancing balls on their heads.
Like the big top, dude.
Yeah, like a Dumbo circus.
Yeah,
it was like a Dumbo circus, and they bring these bears out. They're on like a tricycle, and like one's in a wagon, and they're like pulling them out, and they all have those like frilly kind of like things around their neck, like you see clowns wear, and
it's like a stereotypical circus.
Yeah, it's like picture just picture a circus from like storybooks when you were a kid.
Yeah, Disney
everything.
circus.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, a bear on a tricycle? That shit exists.
That's why we went, like, because we saw the pictures of like on the side of the building, and I was like, I want to see this. Like, this looks great.
Yeah.
First we get there, and they have a camel that is doing this balancing act on this little teeny railing around the ring. It slips and falls and almost like crushes a kid.
Oh my god.
Everyone's like freaking out and like clearing out, and then the music starts back up. Like, they bring these bears out. This woman is trying to do like some sort of like rolling act with it, where she like grabs the bear and they do like somersaults together. The two other bears that are sitting in like this wagon start wrestling with each other, and these guys are trying to like break up two bears who are trying to fight with each other. And the third bear sees these two bears fighting, gets all amped up, sees the chick, and just like runs at her, knocks her into the crowd, and is just like swiping at her left and right. People are screaming, diving, running out, and like everyone's like, oh my god, and like a bunch of these guys run out, get the bear off her, and Russians are just the craziest white people. She like wipes herself off and just does like a ta, and the music starts back up, and they just keep on going. Yeah, she looks like she was hurt. I mean, there's like a full-grown bear just like swiping at her.
Oh my gosh, bro.
And it's just like a lot of people just left. Like there's like families fleeing from like the bottom sections. We were kind of up at the top, so we were just
sitting
in
the nosebleeds.
Yeah, but it was still kind of small, so we're like could see everything, and I'm going like, this is insane.
Yeah,
and they just put the music back up and keep on going.
Oh yeah, they don't fuck around in Russia.
Dude, Russians are the craziest white people.
Dude, my documentation of Russia, according to the internet, is just like people who like get in borderline car accidents and get out of the car and just like beat the shit out of each other, dude.
So we took a bus from Finland into Russia. They share a border. We're literally crossing the border into Russia, and there's like a tour guide on the bus basically telling us how Russia works. And as he's in the middle of explaining why, if we get stopped by a police officer, we absolutely should never, under any circumstances, go with the police officer or get in their car, but rather we should give them all the money we have to bribe the police officer to leave us alone.
Really?
As she's in the middle of explaining this, I'm in the back bench of the bus, and I see this car swerve into oncoming traffic, coming towards the bus, and literally at the last minute change lanes so it doesn't get in a head-on collision with the bus. We're like 20 seconds across the border into Russia, and I was like, what the fuck?
Why is Russia so gnarly?
Well, they have the thing there. So with cars, you don't take like a driver's test, or like you don't have to learn. You just buy a driver's license. So like you just have the money, you give it to the government, and they say, hey, now you can drive a car. So you would see people that, like, to avoid traffic, would just pull their car up onto the sidewalk, and people are like diving out of the way, and they would try to avoid traffic and then get back into the road and keep driving.
No fucking way. Fuck.
So dude, we were with this Canadian kid who was like, we were out drinking, and he runs to like cross the street, and there's this car coming that looks like it's like 100 yards away, and he runs into the street, and this car had to be going like 130 or 140 miles an hour, because this kid goes to run out in the street, and it just goes like, vroom, like literally just like almost cuts this kid, like runs this kid over.
It would have like cut him in half, dude.
Dude, he would have just splattered. It was like, because they have a lot of like those supercars. It was like a Lamborghini or something like that, just
really?
racing down the street.
Yeah, because they got fucking mafia dudes.
Yeah,
there's like Russian mob dudes for sure.
Yeah, I'd never seen so many like hyper wealthy people with like other people that just seem to not be doing very well.
For sure.
It's like the people that are rich there are like insanely rich, and then everyone else is like kind of just getting by.
My buddy opened a restaurant in Saudi Arabia, and he said like the amount of wealth, Saudi Arabian wealth, is like,
yeah, it's insane. Yeah,
it's like nuts. So the big thing in Saudi Arabia is like, because you can't wear necklaces or earrings or like anything like balling like that, because it's impersonating a woman, and in Saudi Arabia that's against the law.
Whoa.
So everybody has like a fucking watch that is like a gauntlet. Yeah. It's like,
so whatever money you would have spent on a necklace and earrings, is just all into the watch.
It's all in the watch and your fucking neon whatever Lamborghini.
Right.
That's the move. But yeah, dude, it's just next. You know, we think people like are rich here in the United States, and like we're like, damn man, that's a nice Range Rover, damn. But there's people in other countries that are just like Illuminati rich.
Well, I was listening to some guy talk where he was like, "Oh, someone was like, oh, isn't Jeff Bezos the richest man in the world or whatever?" And they're like, "Well, no, that's like he's the richest person who has like a publicly disclosed wealth." He's like, "There's these oil families, or like the royal family in Saudi Arabia." He's like, "Where they probably have trillions of dollars. They just don't want to tell everyone how much money they have."
Yeah, dude.
Like when you literally own an entire country, and it's like all the oil and its GDP is kind of funneled into your personal finances.
Yeah, he's like Jeff Bezos is like the wealthiest dude who pays his taxes.
Right. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
God damn. Is he wealthier than? Yeah, he's wealthier than Elon Musk, right?
Oh yeah, I think by a pretty long shot. I mean, Elon's good, but he's not like in like the tippy top.
Elon Musk, I don't even know if Elon Musk wants money, dude. He wants Mars. He wants like planets. I don't even think he like even has a fucking.
I honestly don't think he gives a shit about money in general. I just think he sees money as a really great tool to get to do all this cool shit he wants to do.
Yeah.
I just think like for him, it's all about the pursuit of like the next frontier.
Yeah.
Like space or whatever.
He's got no chill. He's always doing something. He's the kind of guy who gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning and like, I don't know, put together a solar panel because he had a dream about it. It's something weird. It was weird. That Joe Rogan episode where he's just like, just not even human. Just like kind of fucking.
Well, there's an interesting thing where they're talking where Rogan asked him like, what's it like being in your head or whatever, and he was just straight up said, he's like, oh, you wouldn't want to be in my head.
Yeah,
like it's just nonstop.
Yeah, and he knew
he just has one of those brains,
and he knew at like in 3rd grade that he was like, wait, other people aren't coming up with this many ideas like this. That's crazy. It's what's so crazy is to have all that, and at the end of all of it, the craziest part for me was when Elon Musk said, all that matters is love. And you were like, what?
Yeah,
that's trippy, huh? That
was weird because I was like, I remember listening to that and I was like, where's the love in your life? Like, does it come from the pursuit of like all these goals or work, or
maybe he's a messenger? Maybe it's his. Maybe he's like smart enough to know that like because of his level of intelligence, he has a responsibility to the rest of us Elon.
Us Neanderthals.
To deliver this message. Dude, let's talk about you acting.
Oh yeah.
First of all, what a fun little sidetrack. What I really wanted to ask you is, so you went to school for psychology with the hopes of being a psychologist? Or?
Yeah, so my plan the whole time was to go to grad school, do a master's and a PhD program, and I decided I wanted to teach. So I was applying to programs all over the country. I did really well in college. I got straight A's, so I was like going big,
Good
like
for you.
looking at a lot of big programs.
Good for you.
And I submitted all these applications, and I got like kind of like cold feet where I was like, God, do I really want to do this? Like, I talked to a professor. I was working in his lab collecting data for him, and he was like,
Collecting psychology data for him?
yeah. So I worked in a couple different professors' labs, and we would do. I mean, it was essentially like data collection for like different like social psych experiments, or we
sure.
would give them like different surveys to fill out.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
for
got
whatever
you.
ongoing research they had.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him, I was kind of having second thoughts, and he basically was like, "Look, you're getting ready to commit to 7 years of the most rigorous academic experience you've ever had." He's like, "If you're having second thoughts now, you can just rescind your applications, and if in 6 months you feel like, oh, I screwed up, I wish I was in grad school, just go back, like." He's like, "You can call me, I'll help you, I'll make sure that you get back in the swing of it and all
Cool.
that." And I was like, "Oh, that's a good idea."
What was your GPA, if you don't mind me asking?
399.
So, damn, so a 399.
Yeah.
And
I got all A's and 1 A minus
as a psych major. So
Yeah.
you took your school very seriously.
Yeah, no, I was all in.
Good for
Yeah.
you, dude.
Yeah,
That's epic.
yeah.
So, like, what? So, just imagining what the PhD level of psychology, like, what are you, like, Freud? Like Freudian? Like, is that where you wanted to see yourself on?
No,
like,
it was more
big time doctor shit.
Well, because a lot of Freud stuff is more abstract, or there's things you can't really study, like Freud, like things like the subconscious, or it doesn't really. It's not really.
I was using that as an example. Were you imagining yourself as like maybe one day a figure of that nature? Like, what is the greatest honor? So like a comedian.
Well, for me, I wanted to teach, I think. And
Oh, okay.
and I actually think, like, in retrospect, the thing that was appealing about teaching was being up in front of people and talking, which kind of starts getting more towards the acting side.
Yeah, dude.
Like, in my head, the thing I was whatever, you have goals and you kind of picture in your head, like, oh, one day when I'm here, I'm going to be doing this. And when I would think about it, I was more focused on, like, being up in front of people and talking and having
For
people
sure.
listen to what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, I ended up deciding I'll hold up on grad school. I'll see, maybe if I want to go next year. And I started working in this commercial real estate company, and
Sure.
I never once ever thought about going back to grad school.
Doing what in this commercial real? That's what my dad does, commercial real estate.
Yeah, so I started out as a driver for this really wealthy guy. I was kind of his personal assistant and his driver.
Cool.
And I did that for the first 2 years. And during that, I was working with his vice presidents to start learning marketing and some leasing stuff. But then the next 3 years, I ended up managing like 500,000 square feet of office buildings and shopping centers doing leasing. So he owned them, and I basically managed them and operated them. And I negotiated lease renewals with current tenants, and I went out cold calling and working with brokers to get new tenants into
Good
the
for
centers.
you, dude.
Yeah.
So you've been grinding.
Yeah, no, and interestingly enough, kind of touching back to what you were talking about, where you felt like you had kind of missed out on certain things. Mine was kind of unique in that, like, I was making a ton of money for my age. I had really like no responsibilities, and I was making way more money than I ever thought I would make at that age, and I was really miserable.
At the age of what?
Well, I worked there from when I was 21 to 26.
You're making six figures?
Right about. Yeah, right,
Good for
right about
you,
there,
dude.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I mean, good
paying
for
less-
you, but
yeah.
but you couldn't stand yourself.
No,
You couldn't stand you. You couldn't stand your
just-
situation.
Yeah, I was just like, I would just be sitting in the office all day, and I was just like, it just started to get like, it really was grind, not in like the good way where you're like
Involved.
pumped to work, and like, it was just like, I mean, I remember Sunday night would come around, and I would just be like, God, I gotta fucking drive out there again, and I'm gonna like, it was really getting to the point where it was like, just like really, really grinding me down.
What do you spend your money on with six? Because I'm not making a lot of money right now, and I had made $15 for the past 5 years. What do you spend that kind of money on? Do you save it?
Well, I was, but then so
Get a new car?
well, they gave me a company car to drive. I mean, they really set me up really nice. Like, they were very generous
Wow.
with me,
Very
and
cool.
I was, salary plus commission, and they were very good to me,
Wow.
like, financially.
Very cool.
But dude, me and my ex, like, we were living in Pasadena, and it was like, dude, we would go out to eat like 5 nights a week, always getting a bottle of wine. Saturday, Sunday, we'd go down to Old Town Pasadena. I was always going to J. Crew and buying a bunch of stuff. I was just like shopping all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Like I remember the first like 3 or 4 months I started making like real money where I would spend every single bit of my paycheck as soon as I got it.
Oh, really?
So I was just like balling out, going hard, like go out, get like the nicest meal, get like 2 bottles of wine. Then I'm gonna go into J. Crew and buy a bunch of like shirts and shoes and stuff. I was like just spending it like as quick as I was making it.
Now, for you doing that, were you able to take a step back, realizing, I mean, with your psychology background, did you have any understanding of what that might be doing to you? Like making all that money, spending it as soon as it's coming in at a job you're not really in love with?
Yeah, well, what it did was it kind of, you kind of get trapped by it.
For sure.
And it's not, I mean,
like, did you get adjusted to that lifestyle of that paycheck?
Yeah, which like now I don't make it close to what I was making then.
Yeah.
I'm way happier now with what I'm doing, but
isn't that funny how that happens?
Yeah,
all the money goes
I was
away
joking with my
everywhere.
mom, like I did it completely backwards. Like
Yeah.
I should have, when I was right out of college, I should have had my broke time where I was like trying to pursue what I wanted, but to like be making all this money right out of college, and it was just like now all of a sudden, 6 years later, all of a sudden I was like making way less, and I'm like fuck.
Yeah, for sure. Wish you would have put some away.
Yeah, no, and I did, but so I ended up quitting my job. And I did this big 4-month road trip with my dog, where
Epic.
we drove all around.
Oh yeah, I see
the West
pictures of your dog.
Coast
The
and-
face swap thing is the scariest thing I've ever fucking looked
my
at.
little yogurt chip, my Yogi Bear.
That's still around.
Oh yeah.
Good for you, dude.
No, he's a sweetheart. He just turned 9 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my little champ.
They grow up so fast.
I know, right?
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, the other morning I wake up, he's like cuddling. He sleeps in bed with me.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up, he's like resting his head on my chest, and I'm like looking at him like, God, this is like the best. Like he's such a cute dog. And he opens his eyes and looks at me and goes, "Bloop," and just throws up all over my chest.
Ain't that the damnedest thing,
yeah.
dude?
I was like, all right, perfect.
So you took a 4-month long road trip?
Yeah.
What the fuck do you do for 4 months? You
so
lapped the United States 5 times or what?
Dude, I drove, I think it was 15,000 miles in a 4-month period. I went up and down the West Coast. I went up to Humboldt, went up to spend time in Seattle, went up to Vancouver, did, Vancouver Island, went down. I saw my grandparents in Boise, Idaho, went down to Texas to see a friend in Paris, went down to New Orleans and saw Grady for a little bit.
For sure.
Went back up to Seattle, hung out with Ian and his wife
been
and
in
some
New
other
York?
friends. I didn't make it to New York. The farthest east I got was New Orleans.
For sure.
But I kind of just did like this weird. I would talk to people and they'd be like, "Oh, so where have you gone?" And I told them my route, and they're like, "That doesn't make any sense."
Yeah,
Why are you
it's
doing
kind of
that?"
fucking weird, dude.
I just was kind of like aimlessly.
It's like a broken asterisk or something.
Well, I also realized I was really scared for like the next step, like what I was going to do post working and making all this money, and like how was I going to start actually pursuing what I wanted to pursue?
And what did you want to pursue?
So
at this point,
when I was miserable working that job, I started taking acting classes.
Oh,
so I just wanted to do something creative, and I don't know, I'd be sitting in an office and I'd fast forward in my head, and I was like thinking, like I started thinking, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be that guy, like that annoying old guy that you talk to who talks about all these regrets and how he never did the thing he wanted to do. And I was like, I fucking hate that guy. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
And I could see that, like,
that guy hates that guy, by the way.
Yeah, everyone hates that guy.
Yeah, like especially the guy with the regrets hates the guy with the regrets.
No, and I was quickly seeing myself going down that road. And basically I was like I never saw myself working in an office. I started working in this real estate company just because I was like, oh, it was an opportunity that came up, and I was I was like, this will be fun. And then I started getting to a point where I was like, really, they were giving me more properties, and I was taking on more responsibility, and I was doing well at the job, but it was like getting to a point where I was like, oh no, like I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of trouble backpedaling out of this.
Yeah, for sure. Did people call you crazy when you're like, yeah, I'm actually thinking about like quitting my job to do what? Oh, I'm gonna.
I will say, pretty much every person I told was super supportive. Even the guy who was managing me at the company, not the owner, I didn't tell, but the guy who was kind of like my boss, this guy Eamon. Shout out to Eamon.
Eamon,
super good guy.
Dude?
I told him that, and he was like, "Oh, I could see." He was just like really excited, and he was like, oh, "Okay, so that's like what you really want to do." He's like, "Okay, that's just good to know." Yeah, and also people that were close to me. I mean, I think they could see how miserable I was.
For sure.
I mean, if you would ask me how work was going, it's not like I was like, "Oh, it's going really well." It was kind of.
What would you say?
I should be like, oh, it's grind. Yeah, I'm just hammering it out. And then I
Yeah.
mean, dude, I talked
That-
about quitting
that-
that job for years.
Dude, that's fucking me, man.
Yeah.
That's me, dude. I spent so many one of these days, babe. I would because Kenzie was my fucking therapist forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you believe you fucking did this shit to me? And dude, when you work for somebody, I told myself that I wouldn't talk too much about this guy personally, but it was a startup, so it was kind of this guy's rules. So if this guy was having a bad day, I was just kind of subjected to it.
Yeah.
And you're young, and like, I got out of my 4-year school and was terrified because there was all these artists with debt and couldn't pay it. And I was like so thankful to just have a job where like I could start chipping away at my debt and this and that. It was all bullshit, dude. It was all bullshit. And 5 years later, I was like, yeah, I'm going to quit my job. People were like, what do you mean you're going to quit your job? What are you going to do? I was like, well, I'm going to be a freelance designer. I'm going to work on my podcast. They're like, you can't do that. I'm like, why not? They're like, because you need a job. I'm like, I have a job. It's freelance design and a podcast. And it's like, I think people forget that like you can quit your job and pursue what you want to do. Like and it seems fucking crazy, man. Especially like no kids. You know, that's a big one. Shout out to my people who are trying to make their dreams come true with kids and shit. Because I see fucking how tough that is. But
honestly, if I had kids, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
there's no way it would have.
Yeah, there's no way it would happen. But there's something gratifying about like, because I make like close to nothing right now, and like I'm like today, all I've had is like I have a Magic Bullet. It's like almond milk, banana, and peanut butter was my lunch with an intermittent fast.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had a grilled cheese for dinner, and that'll be like it. I've kind of got my body used to not consuming. But like,
are you vegetarian?
I am.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm so fucking happy. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I get up every day at 7. I check my work email. I got projects going. I'm like cold calling. Hey man, didn't we talk about you needing a logo one time? You get to negotiate and you're your own boss. And then it's like at 4 o'clock, it's like, all right, put that shit away because Matt Daniel's coming on tonight. We're gonna get this shit going. I gotta clean the space.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's so weird, but the money's gone. You know, there was never a lot of it, but the money's gone.
Yeah. No, it's a trade-off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the trade-off. But like in the scheme of things, like how silly to like chase money.
Yeah.
You know, when like you have the opportunity to do something that like makes you feel like does acting make you feel like you have give you a sense of purpose? Like when you act, are you like, yeah, motherfucker, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah, well, that was like when my mom dug up this thing that I did when I was a little kid. It was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it was like this paper cut out of a person with my picture, my face on it, and there was like an Academy Award in it. It's like, when I grow up, I want to be an actor. So
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, so
Keep
that's one of those things where it was always what I wanted to do when I was younger, and then I was in middle school and I was like doing like musical theater stuff and like dance class and that kind of stuff, and everyone called me a faggot and made fun of me, so I just like stopped.
Oh wow.
And it was just like, this is too much to deal with.
Oh, I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Hey, did your dad act?
Yeah, he's still acting.
Yeah, for sure. I remember that.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny. It's like we don't give ourselves the benefit of the doubt, but we know what we want when we're very young. It's funny you say that about the Academy Award. I have a memory of me. It's one of my most embarrassing memories, but I remember going home and thinking to myself, "Oh, I'm into." And it was in second grade. I was like, "Oh, you know what? All my group of friends needed was like 3 chicks and 2 dudes, whatever." What's up? I used to hang out with chicks.
Dope.
Second grade. I'm gonna on printer piece of paper. I'm gonna make like identification cards, and like the picture of the face is gonna be like a wolf, and it was terrible. It was terrible, right? But every wolf was color coded, and like they're all identification cards. It was like the wolf pack identification cards.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like I spent so much time trying to figure out what I want to be, but like this podcast to me, this evolved idea and what it is now is like, of course, it's like it's that kid with the fucking like this is just a wolf pack idea,
right?
You know, and like I spent so much time like, especially like I have an older brother who's like a fucking airplane pilot and fucking he rips surfing, like rips surfing, big wave. Like he's not did big wave just to fucking do it. Like he does all this. He's like a cool guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's like one of those dudes where he's just like, you see pictures of him on Instagram, and you're like, whoa, dude. Like, are you fucking
Cool
kidding?
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
sick. And my sister has always been like, like within her friends was always like super popular and shit. So under that, I was always trying to find my voice. Like, I played drums, but I knew I wasn't like a like Steven Davis is a drummer. You
Yeah,
know
he's
what
a
I'm
damn good
saying?
drummer, yeah,
Yeah, but he's not like a damn good drummer. Like, he is a drummer.
Right,
Like,
right.
he just ripped at a young age. He was always good. You can put him on any drum set. You put him on Grady's dad's drum set in Grady's garage, and
Yeah,
he'd
yeah.
rip it. And I knew when I was playing drums for my band, I knew that there was somebody out there just like Steve who cared about the drums way more than me. I knew
Mhm.
this wasn't my voice,
Yeah.
you know. And it wasn't until like I did like design, especially with me, like, okay, like I'm gonna, like, that's what people are seeing right now, like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm gonna have the frame up, and like every month, that's your art, by the way, every month, like my yeah, that's for you.
This guy? Nice.
Yeah, every month, like, oh, they know.
Ooh.
It's part of the theme, dude. So it's
Oh,
like,
there you go. All right.
yeah. So every month it changes. And yeah, see, like that idea, like this is
Yeah.
just a wolf pack. I just feel like my friends are gonna come, and I'm gonna make them coffee, and like
Yeah.
we're gonna talk, and like they're gonna give them like a piece of art, and like
Yeah.
and like that's just who I've been since I was like a little kid. This shit comes natural to me, you know.
Yeah.
And like they're gonna be in this environment with this and that. So it's really funny that you said when you were a little kid that you told yourself you made yourself the deal that you're gonna be an actor, and like you told yourself that that's what you're going to be. And it's funny where it's like a lot of us who don't know what we want to be, we usually tell ourselves what we're going to be like in our very, very early years. Like we figure it out, and it might not be as short as like, what do you want to be when I grow up? I want to be a pilot. But it's like you just like really have to, for anybody out there, because this is a podcast, I have to address like the third person every once in a while. Anybody out there who's trying to figure out what they want to do, man, I explore you to fucking think about your tendencies, and like not think about like what your tendencies mean, but like how you can apply those to something. Cause like I seriously was like, when I was coming down off my fucking bender and trying to get touching my sobriety, I was like, I got to do something where there's art, there's charity, where I can fucking be a class clown, where I can do this, where I can do all these things, and I can build computers, and there's got to be technology involved. And if I would have typed all that shit into monster.com, they'd have been like, you're fucked, being an accountant. That job doesn't exist, you know? But you take an extra second to think about it. It's like, well, why don't you make a podcast, you know, and you can design the art for it and this and that. So I invite anybody who's struggling to figure out what they're about to fucking, I don't know, read between the lines a little bit.
No, and it's almost like you kind of know what you want to do from an early age, and then you either get talked out of it, or like for me, it was like I got made fun of for doing it. For you, you know, you said it was kind of an embarrassing memory having the wolf. So you almost like talk yourself out of doing what you want to do, and then, you know, and then when you're an adult and you're going to college and your parents are like, well, what do you want to do? It's always like, well, how are you going to make money doing that? Or how do you, and so then you're like, oh shit, okay, I can't do that because I can't make money at it. And it's like, you start putting all these parameters on yourself until all of a sudden you're doing something that you probably, or for me anyways, I had no interest in really doing.
For sure. Well, you're living your fucking, like for me, like in my band, my dad didn't know any better. My dad's come such a far way because you get older and you understand that your parents are, wait, you're just a person, you're just old as fuck. You know, that's a part of life. But my dad used to, when I was in bands and shit, he'd be like, how are you going to make money?
Right.
And so thank God I went to school for design, because I fucking love design. But you end up living somebody else's life when you're following their parameters. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's scary, you know, because I mean, you know, like what your parents say holds a lot of gravity to you. You know, I was like, when I'd listen to my dad, I would think about like the life he's provided for me and my brothers and sister and shit, and been like, yo, if he disapproved of what I was doing, I was like, fuck, man, I'm scared. Like, I'm not gonna be able to do that. But you gotta take risks, dude.
No, and there's something to be said for, I mean, you need money to live. I mean,
for sure, the great facilitator.
You know, the job I got after stopping doing real estate was I started working at Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Because I was
like,
did
you?
Yeah. I was
you went from that job to a Trader Joe's?
Yeah. So I was just like, I just need to have like some money coming in
Yeah,
because
for sure.
this money I've saved is starting to run out, and like I just need to have some money coming.
Were you
Yeah.
still living as lavishly as you were? Like,
No, I cut that back really quick.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like.
how did your girlfriend at the time feel about you cutting back on the lavish living? Was she comfortable?
No, I think she was just excited. I mean, I got like really miserable near the end of working that job, and I think it was almost like to the point where, it was almost like just like you gonna like, are you gonna do it already, or like like you
Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I think she was just more just like fucking all right already. Like I get it. You hate you like you're not happy at this job.
That's everybody's 20s. It seems like everybody works a job and then they're like, fuck that. How long have you been acting for? Like, when did you pursue this shit?
Well, I started I joined the Screen Actors Guild 4 years ago.
Sick.
Yeah, so I took acting class for about 2 years. I took some like improv classes at UCB up there, like Upright Citizens Brigade, and did some like sketch writing classes, and then
What's UCB?
It's an improv theater group that it started in New York. Amy Poehler and Matt Walsh and a bunch of these. Like,
She's hilarious.
Yeah, like it was they started it, and it's basically like you can go there and take classes to learn how to do like improv comedy.
Nice.
They also do sketch writing classes. They have other classes too. I'm blanking on it.
My friend Kaylin Zambito is an actress, and I fucking love this shit. I mean, she is so about the grind.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't go into her personal living situation, but she is like an actress at all costs. It's
Good for
fucking
her,
yeah. She's like, yeah. I don't want to speak on her personally, but she is doing whatever she's got to do to get. Not doing whatever she's got to do, but it's just her first priority is an actress. She's an actress first, and she's like always going to calls. Her living situation is not is the opposite of lavish, but she's an actress, and it like and that's what counts to her.
Right.
Do you love acting this much?
I do. Yeah. No. Right. I mean, I've been doing acting and a lot of writing.
Good for you, dude.
Yeah.
You want your own show?
Oh yeah. I mean,
is that what everybody wants in the acting?
Well, not necessarily, but I think it's just any way for me to be creative.
For sure.
That's kind of like I love acting. I also love writing. If it was up to me, if I could write it and then act it, I would like it more than writing it and have someone else say the stuff I wrote. But
for sure.
Yeah, I think just any way to be creative is that like that's kind of just where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So it's not even necessarily specific. Like the next thing I want to start trying is stand up. That's
good for you.
That was my New Year's resolution when the year started. And we're going on the 8th month of the worth of the year now, and I've written about 10 minutes of stuff that I think would work and stand up. So.
I have one bit.
Yeah,
I have like a 2-minute long bit. It goes like a minute 45 seconds, but yeah, I don't know.
No, and to me that's something that's been nagging at me for so long.
Oh, really?
And it's just something I honestly feel like it's another one of those things where if I die not having at least tried it, I'm gonna just be that regretful guy again.
Dude, you got to do me a favor and let me know when you're gonna do the open mic night so I can roll.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Wait, no, you have to, dude. No,
I'm gonna do it a few times by myself,
man, I'm a
and then I'll
fan.
tell you.
No. I understand. You have to go up there and eat dicks, dude. Yeah, that's important, dude. Do you think every podcast up here was me like talking fluidly for 2 hours? Dude, the first couple of podcasts were awkward. I used to touch my fucking hair, my face, and say there's so many nervous tics and stuff. You got, I mean, just like anything, you get better with it.
Well, dude, I'm sure you've seen. I mean, they have pictures of back to Joe Rogan, his first few podcasts where it's him and like. It's like really grainy, and he's in like a dark room in front of a laptop.
Yeah,
with
and
Brian Redband sitting next to, and they're like, he's got like a backward baseball cap, and it's like they just didn't really know what it was or how to do it yet.
Yeah,
and now he's done however many thousands of podcasts.
That's what it's all about, and I don't even know if that's what I'm trying to figure out. I think I'm a designer first. This is just something that's very therapeutic. So this keeps me social. This is like my social exercise. I could do this and then spend the rest of the time with my girlfriend until my next podcast. And I feel like I've spent all my time in the world,
right.
Or spent my time with the world.
Yeah.
So.
But no, I mean, you've always had like your own personal aesthetic ever since I've known you. Like it makes sense that you would kind of be in the design world.
Yeah. It's kind of aligned with What's up with I
No,
would
like you've always had either whether it was how you were dressed or what you were into, but you always had like a personal aesthetic that, kind of morphed and changed as you got older, but it was always very defined.
yeah.
Like you could kind of like, I could always tell like kind of like what you were into and, like,
Yeah. I definitely hear what you're saying.
yeah,
There's
like, what you like.
for sure.
Yeah.
I was always kind of just in a way doing my own thing,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
that definitely relates. Like I wouldn't even say I'm a designer. I would say like more I'm just I don't know, just kind of idea machine.
yeah.
Like, and I say idea machine not like yo I pump out brilliant ideas, but it's just kind of I spend so much time, and I think that's why weed was dangerous with me. It's so much like because weed, like I'm already naturally able to kind of like origami ideas into like different things. Like, oh, let's wear jeans. Well, no, let's wear tight jeans. Let's wear chick jeans. Like, remember when I was a kid, I tell my bit is about I'll tell you my bit off the thing,
Yeah.
but it's about my jeans.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just for those who don't know, before when the tightest jeans out was Levi 501. There wasn't the Levi 510s yet. It was just the super skinny Levi. There was just the Levi 501s. I used to wear my sister's fucking jeans. Come get me. Not worried about it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just always, and what graphic design did, it gave me the tools to be able to create that kind of, I don't know, origami idea
Right.
into something that like I could build for brands.
Mm-hmm.
I could use that aesthetic or that creative drive to be like, all right, man, this is my vision I got for your brand. And I really fucking love doing that for my friends and people, and that's what I'm doing. I got some people and it's the best time to do it too because everybody's got an Instagram business, and everybody needs a logo and stuff. So I'm just like,
Yeah, man.
I'm just like flipping logos, just kind of.
I mean, yeah, this is, a great time to do what you're doing because this is like the era of like startups.
Yeah.
It's like people our age are starting their own thing. And it's like, everybody needs a logo. Everybody needs some sort of design template or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So, what's up with your show, dude? You're like a cop?
Yeah. So that ended up, it's The Rookie on ABC. And really
it's an
started.
ongoing show, dude.
Yeah, we started filming season 2 of it.
Good for you, dude. That's so sick.
Yeah, but so really it's like, it's a recurring background role that like they need to keep kind of like the station the same, and they kind of keep bringing in the same group of cops so that
How many words have you gotten like on camera yet? I've heard you say like, Chief, it's for you, or some shit. You had like a phone.
No, well, most of the time it's like you're like mouthing stuff, or you're like, if you are talking, they don't want to have to pay you any more than they have to. So for that, it's really just kind of.
Dude, it's on ABC though.
Yeah, no, and
it's
been a crazy learning experience for me to just spend that much time on set working to just at least understand. I mean, like what does a grip do, or like what does it mean when they, so they have to get coverage for a scene. Like I don't wait, so they already shot the scene, but now why are they moving the cameras around? Just like literally understanding like the logistics of how you actually shoot a TV show.
For sure.
Or just terminology where if someone's, someone says like, oh, this is the martini shot. It's just like,
I don't know.
What the fuck does that mean? Oh, it just means they're setting up the last shot of the day.
Oh,
like, there's just like all these like old Hollywood like lingo and slang terms that, and
it tickles your ego enough to feel like this is aligned with like you wanting to be a teacher and the all eyes on you type thing. You like performing?
Yeah, no, I mean, and I've got I've gotten to meet a lot of great people who, one guy I'm working with, we started writing something together.
Cool.
Another guy he was just a background guy who was on set one day. It was kind of a crazy story. So this guy that I worked with a lot was like, hey, there's this really cool documentary coming out on NFL kickers. That was his thing. He's like, hey, check out this trailer. And there's this guy walking by who's like, hey, that's my documentary. I was like, what? And he's like, oh, that's my documentary. Me and my buddies made that documentary. He's like, the trailer you're watching is for my documentary. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you talking about? And he like gave me a business card. I looked him up, and he's a really nice guy. This guy, Ian Connors, and he'd done a documentary about the Seattle Supersonics leaving Seattle, and he's like a Pacific Northwest guy. And now he's down in LA to kind of start getting more into the business. And just through meeting him and talking with him and stuff, I ended up doing a little short film with him that he wrote and directed. So through just spending time on this TV show, I've gotten to meet so many people that want to do the same kind of thing.
Sick.
And we're kind of all at the same place where it's like, hey, I'm doing a thing. Like, do you want to be a part of my thing?
Cool.
So that's been like the greatest thing, is just to get, I mean, I guess it's networking, but just to kind of find like-minded people who want to do the same stuff.
That's epic, dude.
Because it's just the weirdest thing where if you say like, hey, I want to be an actor, it's like, well, how do you go do that? There's no like, all right, you start at this company and then you do this and then you work your way up.
It's a grind, right?
Yeah, no, it's just,
it's a job. Like, people think that they just, and everybody has heard that fucking story in some bar, especially here in Hermosa. Where are you from? Midwest. Let me guess. You want to be an actor? Yeah, that's why I'm here. It's like, I mean, it happens all the time, but people don't understand that you got to put in that fucking work. If you
and dude, props to the people who leave everything they know and their friends and family to come out to Los Angeles to be an actor.
That shit happens all the time.
No, because when I talk to people and they're like, hey, so where are you from? I'm like, oh, I'm Manhattan Beach. And they're like, no, like, where originally? I'm like, no, I'm from Manhattan Beach. They're like, yeah, no, but like before you came to LA, where were you? I'm like, I'm really
seriously fucking down the street.
Born here and I grew up here. I promise. And they're like, oh wow, that like, so you're from LA?
You fucking lucked out,
dude. And like the fact that I didn't have to like leave my family or friends to go pursue this thing.
Yeah. But you're doing it, dude. It's like, like there's people who leave and then they're withering away in some restaurant, you know, waiting to get fucking picked up for
dude,
something.
And respect to them. Because I mean, my big thing was like when I started trying to pursue this thing or trying to figure out how I was going to go about even attempting to do this, it was like, at least if I know that I gave it 100%, I'm not going to be that old regretful guy.
Yeah.
Because it'll be like, well, at least I tried.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I just never even gave it a shot.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That's fine.
Yeah.
But at least it's something where like, I gave it my best shot. Yeah, it's a tricky business. A lot of luck, you know? So
for sure.
So I at least kind of check that box where I...
Yeah.
But no, I mean, if I compare like how happy I was a few years ago before I really kind of started pursuing this thing to now, it's like night and day difference.
So you would not, you're going to be an actor for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
or involved with the entertainment.
Yeah, doing something creatively in that industry. Yeah.
In the industry.
Yeah.
Good for you, and that's your calling.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy how when you do something like that, I mean, God forbid, but you feel like, I don't know, when you get yourself living at the same tempo as what you thought your destiny was, it's different. I mean, it's like eating, like how I told you, like a grilled cheese and a peanut butter is like a day's worth of food for me. I would do this every day if it meant I got to run my podcast, build brands for people, and instead of like taking some fucking paycheck doing whatever for whoever, you know.
Right.
It's crazy when you like fucking are finally living out what you thought you were supposed to do, you know.
No, absolutely. And yeah, man, I mean, all I can say is that I know how miserable I am when I'm doing something that I don't want to do. Mm-hmm. So it's like when I mean, dude, I have dreams sometimes where I'm back working that other job,
mm-hmm.
and I like it makes it like I get like a queasy feeling in my stomach.
Yeah,
it's just like the thought of doing that again. It's like, oh god, it took me so long to get out of it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it takes a lot. I quit 2 times, and the guy, the first time, it was just kind of like, no, dude, you can't. I mean, he would almost come into the office and tell me like, it's not a good idea, man. You can't just like pursue design.
Yeah.
And it was just weird, dude. It was just weird. He was keeping me tied in.
Yeah. And also, by the way, to people listening, I understand how lucky I am to get to choose between the money and the dream, because I could imagine listening to myself tell this story, and it's just like, oh, boo-hoo, you had a job where you're making a lot of money and you weren't happy.
I was going to say something. You're kind of a fucking dick, dude.
Yeah, no. So I 100%
No.
understand how fucking lucky I am to get to make that choice.
Listen, you've made a series of choices for yourself that has led you to be in that position, okay?
Yeah.
And not everybody has made those same kind of positions. It's at a certain point when you hear these stories, if this rubs you the wrong way, chances are, well, if these stories rub you the wrong way, there's a chance that somewhere along the line, there was a decision made on your end that, you know, you're maybe regretful of, because to me, what it sounds like is that you made all the decisions made. You got I mean, and it could be it's that karma could start with all the way you getting help with your opiate addiction. I mean, you could be dead by now. You know,
Yeah.
you could be in your car, fucking passed out with a needle in your arm, and that would have been it. You know,
Yeah.
but you proceeded to clean up. You went to school. You were sober your whole first year. The worst grade you got was an A-, and you worked your fucking ass off for a company you knew you weren't happy at forever.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, things have gotten you to where you're at. Do you feel like you've earned your spot where you're at? I mean, I know you know you're lucky, because I think my lucky stars every day. But
Yeah.
are you aligned with the amount of effort that you put in to get to where you are?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the difference. If you just woke up one day and it was like, hey, what's your name? Matt. You ever acted before? No. You want to be on this ABC show? Yes. That would be. Then I could understand somebody's frustration. But
yeah, and I mean, I don't even. You hear those stories about like, or like, what's her name? Pamela Anderson was at like a Dodger game and she got on like the big screen and some producer saw her and was like, we need to put her on TV.
Yeah.
Like supposedly that's literally how she got discovered. And it's like, those stories happen, but it's like, I think I'm fine handsome wise, but like I'm not a Brad Pitt or somewhere you look at me and you just go like, we have to put this guy on screen, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that.
But everybody's got their troubles too.
Oh yeah, no, everybody's journey is different, and it's and I wouldn't trade mine for anything.
Sure.
I don't even have 1 ounce of being like, oh, I really wish I did this or this. I really am 100% like comfortable being like, this is my journey and I'm on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went through a period where I had regret about certain things, or like the way things went, or like, you know, you go back and you think, oh, if I would have done this or this, or if I would have left the job sooner, or if I wouldn't have done, you know, like I've had my time doing that. And now it's like, well, yeah, but I didn't. So I decided to make these, or I made these decisions the way I did. So it's like, there's no point in thinking like, what if?
Yeah, for sure.
It's just kind of wasted energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
With your buddy, you said you're writing something with your buddy.
Yeah.
You know, we can have both you guys on. That's why there's the third mic now.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a third mic. So as you guys get closer to writing, why don't you, or next time one of the boys are in town, Grady or something, maybe we can.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That would be super fun.
Yeah.
But we do 2 hours, and we have gone over our clean 2 hour mark.
Holy shit! It's 8:30.
This shit happens so quick.
Yeah.
It's a symptom of this. But as you develop and you keep doing shit in your career, let's either get you back on again with your buddy, and if not with your buddy, then you got to come back in and keep checking in, because
yeah, absolutely.
I love the story of the Hollywood grind. It's so foreign to me, and it's not something that, I mean, I think we live in the capital of people migrating here in order to chase the silver screen dream, you know? So when I have friends that are out there doing it, I would be fucking stoked and honored to have them keep coming back to tell us what that's about, because that's knowledge that it seems like the whole world is interested in, you know?
Yeah.
Hotel California, all the way in Thailand.
8 times in a row.
8 times in a row, baby. All right. Actually, so we're fucking out of here on Wednesday. I got fucking Nikki Mayer coming on. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, she's just been lording it, dude. She's like lost all of this weight. She runs her own hair cutting. She's her own hairstylist company. She's like a keto queen. She's killing it, dude.
Aikido, like martial arts?
No. Keto, like ketogenic.
Oh, ketogenic, gosh.
Yeah, she's always cooking keto recipe. Is there anything anybody should look out for? You want to give any dates or shout outs or anything to look out for? Or you want to just you want to clean break it?
Trying to think.
Well, everybody watched the fucking Rookie.
Yeah, the Rookie on ABC. It's going to be on Sunday nights now.
Sunday nights?
There's a movie called Ad Astra starring Brad Pitt that's coming out in September, I think. And if you keep your eyes peeled near the end of the movie, you'll see me.
That's epic, dude. Yeah, for sure.
Well, that was a highlight for me.
And that's in September it's coming out?
I think it's September 15th.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. Well, I'll be back. And then when I get back from Spain and Morocco, let's have you back on, and we'll watch it on the fucking podcast.
I like it.
And we'll have you back on.
Yeah.
Matt, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
dude.
good
I
to be here,
appreciate you
man.
guys. All right, guys. Nikki Mayer on Wednesday. Peace out, y'all.
Woo.
Fuck yeah, homie.
Yeah.